Hello. So I'm guessing that Tim was amazing because everybody's talking about what Tim did. I only popped in a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end because I had to eat and get some other things done. So I missed it, but I'll have to watch it later. I'm sure it was wonderful. Did you do holiday stuff? Oh, I can't wait to watch. I'm glad you're all here. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I went live earlier today from 9 to noon, and then I stopped because Tim's doing his live, and I figured you were all sick of me and could go watch him. And then I'm going live now from 3 till 5:30 or 6. So I'm going to do 1 hour of Honeybee, 1 hour of Simon Says Stamp, and then just kind of do a review. And then tomorrow I go live from 3 to 7. So I was going to do live all day Friday, all day Saturday. And I ended up, oh, thank you, Tim. I ended up spreading today into Sunday because I wanted to have some time off tonight. So you can come back tomorrow at 3 too if you want to. All right, welcome. What did Tim do? Was it amazing? I figured everybody's saying it is. Yay. Well, I get to watch that after this then. Because remember, lives have replays. You can catch the replay later on. And then tomorrow at, I think it's at the 3 o'clock time slot, I'm using, oh, there's Tim. Hi, Tim. Thank you. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm using some of Tim's products. So I'm using some Ranger products tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad you're all here. So for this hour, it's Honeybee. Next hour is Simon Says Stamp, and then a little bit of a wrap up after that. Yeah, well, I planned to go live all day today, and I had an hour planned for Ranger and Tim stuff, and I texted him and was talking about it, and he's like, wait a second, I was going to go live on Saturday, so that's why I broke it up, so that we could both go live. I don't know why I didn't. I know he goes live every weekend at noon. I didn't think about it. So this worked out wonderfully.
What's the holiday weekend? Only something crazy would go.
Yeah, as Mike says, it's a holiday weekend. Only crazy people go live. Well, Tim's like me. We are obsessed with what we do. So that's what happens. Good, good. I'm glad you're all here. Okay. Yeah, here's the thing. I know I'm doing 3 days of lives, and that's a lot for people. So you can catch the replays. You're giving me Jerry Lewis telethon vibes.
Guy's good.
That's good. But you can catch these later because even if you're not doing shopping, you can watch for the inspiration. I have some die cutting techniques, some other things this hour, and the next hour I'm going to do some more embossing folder things that can be done with a variety of different products. Great. Oh, good. I'm glad you learned a lot from. Well, learning a lot from Tim is pretty normal. That's how he rolls. Mike, do you have the Honeybee images?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. They are ready?
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I'll give you a moment.
I'm barely ready, but.
Mike went up and slept during this break. I worked. I ate lunch and worked. My friend Leanne, I don't know if Leanne's here, she sent pizza, the best pizza around here. She arranged with my mom to get pizza here for lunch, so I ended up having that instead of the regular.
You have no idea how much food there's in the fridge.
We have so much food. It's wonderful.
Left over for days.
Yeah. Okay. So let's review here. Mike is going to get the images ready.
Yeah, they're ready.
Oh, they're ready. Okay. So, thank you. Honeybee, I have a page for each company for each hour. So right now it is the Honeybee hour. And I just put in the chat a link to the Honeybee page that has all the information about what deals they have going on and what products I'll be using. We're going to do some playing. They've got a great free gift. I had pizza instead. Somebody asked a question. What was it? I think Michigan's losing, which I'm really sad about. Are they losing or did they lose?
I don't know.
Yes, it was Dewey's. You're right, Roxanne. I saw a question, but it went by too fast. I like Brooklyn, but no, they all like Dewey's. Marion's. Yeah, I don't like Marion's. Okay. Okay, I'm just catching up here. Okay, so Dewey's Honeybee. Honeybee is right now. Somebody asked about Scrappy Tails. Scrappy Tails. Sabrina from Scrappy Tails did a video, and I'm thinking I'm going to show it tomorrow at some point during my little marathon tomorrow. I have that. I have one from Annette at Pink Fresh. I think Christopher from Brutus Monroe sent one, so I have a few that I can show tomorrow. Today was just a little too much, too many things going on. Hi, Trinity Stamps. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Talked a lot about your embellishments in my crafty gift guide. Most of my embellishments come from Trinity Stamps. Okay, so Mike, is Michigan losing that much?
Yeah.
Oh, darn it. My parents went to Michigan.
Mom's yelling at the TV right now.
My mom is upset. She sits in front of the TV screaming. Okay, Mike, can you show what Honeybee has going on?
Yeah.
All right, so it is Small Business Saturday over at Honeybee, and that means 30% off the Honeybee branded products, and that is through today. So 30% off anything Honeybee on their site. Now keep in mind that Honeybee has, they carry a lot of other products, like they carry some of Tim Holtz's products, they carry some of Gina K. They carry a lot of other products too, but this sale is 30% off their branded stuff, okay? And do you have the free gift image?
Yes, I do.
And then it started yesterday, but while supplies last, with $100 or more, you get a die and stamp set. Hi, Simon. So I'm going to show you that set, and I'm actually going to use it on a card because I thought it was so cute. So I think that's automatically added to your order if you spend more than $100. All right, and it's a one-time thing. You can't place multiple orders and get more than one. Most of the coupon codes that I share are one-time because these are small businesses, and it's just easier to do it that way. Okay, all right. So let me show you that free gift from Honeybee. All right, come back here, Mike. This is the free gift from Honeybee. It is a die set. That's a pretty hefty die set, right? And then a little stamp set that comes with it that says Sending Holiday Joy. So I'm going to make a card with that, and we're going to make it move because I'm into that whole movement right now. Hi, welcome. So as I mentioned, right now you get 30% off Honeybee branded products. And I'm going to show you a bunch of Honeybee things today and the type of products they have that I really enjoy. But keep in mind, they carry other products there. So if you just need some basic supplies, they have a lot of it. And you could easily get this free die set and stamp set. Okay, so this is they call it the Black Friday freebie. Isn't that cute? Freebie. Yes, I'm back. I never go away, do I? So I assembled the reindeer from this die set. Let's see. I'll hold it up here so you can see. So I cut it from, this is the Lawn Fawn paper bag cardstock, which I talked about in my Lawn Fawn hour earlier. I love that. And I used Concord and 9th wheat cardstock for the lighter areas. I talked about how those are both great craft. You have a light craft and a dark craft. So Concord and 9th wheat paper bag from Lawn Fawn. Then I created the bow from red cardstock. The antlers and the little feet, I just used the paper bag cardstock, and I used a marker to make it a dark brown. And then for the nose, I used a Trinity Stamps red glitter confetti. So it would be Rudolph, okay? So all of the dies for all of that layering and detail are from here. And I like that. Do you notice how the die did little impressions of dots on the back of the reindeer? Okay, so a lot of detail. The eye has that detail, the ear, a lot of detail with that die set. So I created that off screen. It's really easy to follow. They have that product image, and you can just follow along and create it very easily. So I thought I would make a card that moves using that. Felt would be pretty for the reindeer. That'd be cute too. You could definitely do that. Yeah, I have a hard time with brown cardstock. I'm kind of picky with brown cardstock, and I will say If you like kind of craft color look, the darker Lawn Fawn paper bag is great, and the lighter Concord and Ninth wheat is great. But also, if you want some that don't look kind of like that craft, if you want good browns, I also like the Spellbinders browns. There's some good Spellbinders cardstock browns too. Can you buy the set separately? I don't think so. Mike, can you look and see if this is something you could add to your cart? I don't think so, because it's called the Black Friday 2025 freebie.
Yeah, it says limited edition.
Yeah.
I don't have a link directly to it.
I highly doubt you can. But let me show you. I should show you this. Let's see if I can find them. Lila, you might have to move. Hold on. I'll be right back. Let me get a container. I had them in here earlier. Last year, they had a vintage-looking reindeer. Yes, here it is. Remember this guy? These are all Honeybee from last year. I made all these in a live last year from Honeybee. And I bet money they have all these products still. Look at all these. Look at this. This is Honeybee.
They have a vintage reindeer.
Can you add that to the list? Okay. So last year, I'll tell you what was really popular. Where'd it go? Okay. I went live with this vintage reindeer last year. And I remember they sold out really fast of these. This guy here. This Rudolph here. Look at that. And he's in stock now. So you could get him 30% off right now. These were for my live last year. I think it was a live. Brienne, I bet Brienne can find it. But look at that little vintage image. I know there were some other vintage ones they released this year. This is not. They had a bunch of gingerbread things. Here's a gingerbread house they had last year. The window, they have the windows and the fireplace. Here's the fireplace with Santa coming down the fireplace. Isn't that funny? So I did a live with a bunch of Honeybee last year. And I know those products are still available, but I do remember that this vintage reindeer was very popular. So if you're looking for a good reindeer, these dies are great. And Mike just added it to the supply list. So I'll put it in the chat. That's the link to the Honeybee page. If you're already on the Honeybee page, you'll want to refresh it because Mike just added that to the thumbnails that are at the bottom. Okay?
Usually I have something that's at the very bottom.
Yeah,
It's easier to find.
Okay, so if you look at the thumbnails on that page, all the way at the bottom, you'll find that vintage reindeer. Yes, it would be fun to have Santa's legs swinging back and forth on that one. One of the things that Honeybee is really good at is they come out with like a house, like a door, and then they do add-on sets for different seasons to decorate it. Or like the fireplace. They had the basic fireplace die set, and then you could add like a Halloween scenery, or you could do a Christmas scenery. They have a bunch of dies that go with it. But yeah, the vintage reindeer is in stock at Honeybee. And that was the one I just showed you. Okay, so right now I'm using the freebie for this. Let me show you what I'm going to do for the background. This is one of my favorites. Let's see what it's called. I've used this one in videos in the past. See, I'm going to have a hard time finding the package because...
Is the bow part of the set?
The bow is part of the set. See the bow right there?
Okay. It was under your head bubble.
Oh, sorry. Yep, the bow is part of the set. And then this is called this die here is called the Christmas Star A2 cover plate die, but you could use it for a lot of things. And I really like their plates because it does an impression and it cuts a little bit. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, Kelly Cahoot retired. She was great. Hold on. That's loud, sorry. It's the easiest way to get these little die cuts out of here. Yeah, so now I think taking over for Kelly Cahoot is Kelly Taylor. I think she does the lives now for Honeybee. Honeybee has great layering dies. I'll talk about those later. So this you could go do directly on the front of the note card because it doesn't cut the outside edge. But I just have an A2 panel of gold matte metallic cardstock. And I'm going to cut that. And I'm just using this like you would a regular die. I have LaCroix. Yeah, I miss Kelly too. The black raspberry LaCroix is really good. Okay, so let me show you what you get. You pop out, there's little stars that it pops out, which you could use if you wanted to. But look at the detail in that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, Kelly Taylor does their life. She's great. Man, that girl can color. Isn't that pretty? So I thought that would be a nice fast background for this reindeer. But when I went and I put the reindeer on there, I felt like he kind of got lost against the gold. So I grabbed one of now this die I've used many, many times in videos. This is one of my most used die sets, you can kind of tell. This is the Layering Vintage Labels. So this is from Honeybee too. Let me show you. It's cool. It's not just like your regular nesting set. There's this big frame that you can use, which I'll use in a moment. And it has a lot of detail on it. Out here it has like a blanket stitch kind of look. And then here it has, it looks like it's an impression of a line and piercing dots. So their dies put a lot of detail into things. A lot, right? Then there's a die that fits in there that has like faux stitching on it. Then look at all of these that nest inside of it. So I have used this several times. In fact, I bet one of those, let me go see if I can find that vintage reindeer examples. I bet one of them used this. Let me see, because I use it a lot. Let's see. No, but something in here would have. This one does. This one has it. This one is a Honeybee gingerbread house, and you can see I've got the frame in the background and then one of the layers on top. Okay, so it's something different, right? It's not your basic. I really like it. Yeah, they do cut really well. So what I did is I used the basic one that does a little bit of faux stitching on the inside edge, and I cut that twice off screen from white cardstock. So you can see that faux, hold on, give me a second here. See that faux stitching kind of on the inside edge? It's kind of an impression. I did that twice from white cardstock, and the little freebie stamp, I stamped on the bottom of one of them, okay? So those are the pieces that I have so far. Now I had mentioned that for my reindeer, I used paper bag from Lawn Fawn. That's the darker kind of craft color. Then the lighter craft color is wheat from Concord and Ninth. And I glued a piece of wheat cardstock from Concord and Ninth behind my die cut panel so that that little bit of craft showed through. See that craft that shows through the holes? I originally was going to put this on white, and I felt like those white stars were a little distracting with everything. So by putting the wheat behind it, I felt like it wasn't as distracting. Okay. Is the cardstock from Honeybee? No, the cardstock is not Honeybee. This cardstock that I used here, this gold matte, I think this is Simon Says Stamp gold matte cardstock. I don't know, Honeybee may sell some cardstocks. Yeah, there's a lot of Kellys. They may sell some cardstocks because, as I mentioned, they sell a lot of products from other companies. What's included in the 30% off right now is just their line of stuff. But going towards that $100 to get the free reindeer set and stamp, you can use anything. Yeah, the white looks fine, but I liked the subtleness because what I want to do is just have the craft show through the holes, and I trimmed it down so that you see the white around the outside edge. So this is what it'll look like in the end. Isn't that beautiful? The background die, this beautiful background die, what did I say it was called? It is the Christmas Star A2 cover plate. And they have a lot like this. They really do. I'm going to show you another one in a little bit. But the Christmas Star A2 cover plate, I've used this in a video before. I have used this in a video before. Oh, yes, Honeybee does sell some great pattern paper packs too. I talked about Lawn Fawn. uses or has some great small patterns that work great on cards. So does Honeybee. So just lots of options here. So what I did is off screen, I cut that background from gold metallic like I showed you here. Where did my glue go? And then I put it onto the Concord & Ninth wheat cardstock. And now I'll glue it onto a side folding A2 note card. So it's a white cardstock note card that is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So you'll have that nice white trim. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been nice. Another thing I tried to do when I chose like the time slots for everything is I tried to alternate like styles, but it's kind of hard. There were a lot of things that went into considering, figuring out who goes when. Okay. All right, so I've got that. Now, I thought it would be fun, instead of just gluing this down and having my reindeer here, I thought it'd be fun if he moves. And I've been talking a lot about a movement on cards. I'm going to show you a few different options that are fast. Mike, can you add action wobblers to the supply list? I didn't think about showing this. So one thing that you can do, let me go ahead and glue this down. So again, this is from the Vintage Label die set. I die cut it from white, and then I stamped the free stamp that comes with that reindeer on the bottom of it. Now, one thing that you can do to make him move on here is use an action wobbler. I've used these many times in videos. They've been around for a long time. They're little springs that flatten and pop up. And it's sticky on both sides. So you take the release paper off one side and you stick it to whatever you want to wobble. Okay? Then you take the release paper off the other side. Brienne's freaking out because she gets scared when I get knives out. So I take the release paper off that side, and then you can just lay it wherever you want him to be. I want it to be right there. Press it down, and now he will dance and wiggle. Okay? And the nice thing is, see how he pops up? It flattens nicely to go in an envelope. Now, I know many of you have seen action wobblers before. Make sure, if you consider getting action wobblers, make sure you get the mini size. There are bigger ones, but the minis I like better because you can hide them behind smaller things like the skinny little Rudolph. Okay, so that is, yeah, I have a difficult time with browns. I'll show you some browns if you want to see them. All right, so he just shakes nicely and pops up when you take him out of the envelope. You'll see it wiggles very freely, okay? So that is one thing that you could do. Now let me look at another one here. I'm going to take that off so you can see another. So you can consider the different options. Now this I probably shouldn't have glued down. Okay, now for the other option, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So these are just options for that cute little reindeer to move. The action wobblers, I get mine from Simon Says Stamp. I don't know, does Honeybee have them, Mike?
I don't look. I've added them to the list from Simon. They're Pear Blossom ones.
Pear Blossom sells them. Let's see. Pear Blossom has 15% off today.
Yeah, they got action wobblers.
Yeah, Honeybee has action wobblers. I will put them at the top of my supply list. My Honeybee supply list, let me add them. I tell you, Honeybee carries everything. It's pretty amazing how much stuff they have. So this I will put into the chat, and I've also pinned it at the top of the chat. That is the Honeybee page. If you go to that page, at the top will be all the information about the deals at Honeybee, and then below are thumbnails of everything I'm using. If I say I'm going to add something, that just means you have to refresh that page and it'll show up. So if you refresh that page right now, you'll see their action wobblers at the top of the list. Okay? So this time I thought I used these a little bit already in some of my lives this weekend. This is the Snap and Slide. These are from Pear Blossom Press. Now, you do not have to use the Snap and Slides to do the mechanism I'm about to do, but it really makes it fast, and you will see that. Now, let me show you something. We need to create a track for Snap and Slide, but I thought I shared this last year because I absolutely love it. Ooh, I might do this. I might have to do that. This is one of my all-time favorite sets. This is, I don't go to Amazon. Go to Honeybee or Simon Says Stamp. This was on my favorites list a couple years ago, and it still is a favorite of mine. I just got a new set of it because mine was a mess. This is the Honeybee Mini Messages and the Mini Messages dies. And I think I have that on my supply list. Mike, is it on my supply list?
What were they again?
The Mini Messages. Yes, they are. So this is the Mini Messages stamp set. And it's one of those stamp sets that has every occasion you can imagine. Everything for your retirement, congratulations, happy anniversary, missing you, welcome little ones, sending paper hugs your way. Pretty much every kind of basic sentiment you want in a basic font that works with everything. Then they have the Mini Messages sentiment strip dies. Let me see what they're called. Mini Messages banner dies. So these work really well with these sentiments, but I also find these work really well with a lot of other sentiments from other stamp sets. So that's why my Mini Messages dies stay on my magnet, says it on the back, because I use these so often. They stay in the front of my drawer. So I've been using these for years. And I actually thought that this little one right here would make a nice little track for my reindeer to go back and forth. Okay, so this one that will go on the top, this label die that I made with the vintage label, I'm going to cut on there, but I want to make sure I can hide it behind my reindeer. So I'm going to have it go like right there. I think that works. All right. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, it is a lot of messages. Yeah, Betsy says she uses those dies on all the things. Yeah, I use those dies with a lot of non-honeybee sentiments. I mean, like I can dig through my sentiments. Let's see here. I'll pull some out here. Here we go. This is from Simon Says Stamp. It's the Tiny Words Encouragement. And look at, like, let's grab this one. That would cut that out, the You Are So Special to Me perfectly with that sentiment strip. So I find these sentiment strips can be used, sentiment banner dies can be used with a lot of different companies' sentiments. And you have the square edge options, the slightly rounded corner, and the banner edge options. So, and lots of different lengths. So it makes it easy. In this case, I'm using one of the short ones to create a track for my snap and slides. Yeah, that reindeer is super cute. Okay, so let's see here. These are the snap and slides from Pear Blossom Press. Let me see, just a second. I'm looking, hang on. Yeah, okay, so I linked in my list sources for the snap and slides. Pear Blossom Press has them, and Simon Says Stamp has them. So there are two different pieces, and they snap together. You put one behind your groove and one on the front, and it just snaps into it. And so it'll slide back and forth. It'll also spin. So you could die cut a little circle here, put one of them in it, and you can make your reindeer spin around like he's drunk. But I just want him to go back and forth. So I'm going to do two snap and slides. So I've got another one. I'll put it behind the groove, and I'll put the other half on top, and it snaps together. So now I have two of these groove things. So by adding the reindeer on two of these, it'll have them go back and forth, but not going crazy. Okay, so I'm going to hold these right at the center. And then I got to find my tape. Here it is. Now you could use liquid adhesive on top of these. It just takes a long time to dry, and we don't have that. So I'm going to go shorter. I'm going to go with a piece of double-sided tape. Glue dots work too. So I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape across it. Oh, this piece isn't big enough. Hang on. I'm going to do some more. Yeah, it did go drunk fast. Sorry. You know, I didn't want my reindeer to go crazy. So I am going to make something later that spins really well. But for this, I didn't want spinning. Oh, honeybee. That's a good question. Who said that? Dorothy, good point. Remind me to show you diamonds in a moment. Okay. So I put adhesive on top of those snaps. I'm setting it kind of in the middle position. I'll lay my Rudolph on it. Okay, now he'll slide back and forth freely. If I used a longer track, he'd go back and forth more, but I don't want that. I don't know, Mike, is there a code for the 30% off, or is it just automatic?
I have not seen, no code.
Mike says there's no code. I think it does it in the cart.
And it does not say.
The reason I do two is if I didn't do two, if I just did one, he might want to flip over. By having two attached to the back, he just goes side to side. He can't flip over. There's no room for these to flip. If I did one, oh, the tiny diamonds are sold out. Darn. Okay, so I have Altenew foam tape here. This is their 1/8" thick, and it's a 1/4 inch wide. And I like this foam tape for many reasons, but one is if you take the release paper off of it, you can kind of bend it. So I'm kind of bending it around. So it kind of goes along the outside edge of this. I don't want it to go up against those sliders because I don't want it to stop those sliders from moving. So I'll snip the extra there. And then you can go in and do this. Let's do. You can add some foam tape in these areas if you want to, just as long as it's not too close to your moving elements. You want those elements to be able to move in there, okay? So now this, I'm going to glue directly on top of the plain white one I've already added. Yeah, Honeybee is very generous. The owner of Honeybee, Melissa, and her sidekick, Lisa, are two of the best humans. Amazing people. Okay, so there he goes back and forth. Very easily he moves. So when the recipient takes it out, they'll be able to tell, they'll be able to notice the movement when they take it out of the envelope. You could put it at an angle. Somebody asked, you could put it at an angle so he's more flying up. But I like him being, I liked it side to side because it moves a little. I think they're most likely when they open it, they'll feel the movement going side to side, but you could have it go slightly up if you wanted to. Isn't that fun? Now, if you do not have those snap and slides, you can create something that's somewhat similar. It's not as easy and it doesn't move as well, but you can create something similar by creating two large circle die cuts and then putting a foam circle adhesive in between. So like a little foam circle, like one of these. So you would put a circle die cut behind your little slider die cut window, then a foam circle, and then another circle die cut on top, which I've shown many times, but I find that these just are working so much better. They're just very smooth and they work great for the movement. And you could easily do a spinning element with just one of those in a circle die cut hole. But I wanted to show you, I didn't want my reindeer to go all over the place. Isn't that deer great? Yeah, you can use pennies. You could use pennies. A lot of times you really only use pennies if you want some weighted movement, like a pendulum, like if you want something to swing back and forth, a penny's good for that. And I've done many videos with that. Hi, welcome. Okay, so this is the die set and the stamp set that you get free for $100. I wanted to use it because I thought it was so cute. And look at that background. Now the background is, again, the A2 Christmas star. Oh dear, I lost it. Let's see. It is the, yeah, A2 Christmas star cover plate. And it's in the supply list. Yeah, this will, now for this one, there is a little bit of dimension to it. I would just put this in a rigid mailer or a bubble mailer. Yes, you can also do like two circle die cuts and glue a small button between. You can do that too. Yep, you can use pennies for spinners for sure. Yes. So I have done many slider and spinner things that don't require the snap and slides. I just found those and I think they're make it a lot easier. A lot easier. Isn't that fun? I like his little bow. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, I wanted to show you a few other things. First of all, let me gather some things here. Yes. Okay, where's the die set? Here it is. The other day I went live and somebody asked about one of the cards in my background. I have a bunch of cards behind me that people have sent me. And let me get this out of the way. This is the card that people were asking about. People were asking about this beautiful card that my friend Linda Gorman sent me. Linda is a very kind soul who every morning sends me an encouraging text, and she sends lots of cards. And a lot of people were asking about this amaryllis. And I thought about making it today, but I decided I'm not going to make it today. I just wanted to mention it because it's included in that 30% off, because Honeybee makes it very easy to figure out how to use their dies. So this is the amaryllis. It's their Lovely Layers amaryllis. And it comes with this card that tells you how to layer it together. So there is no guesswork with it. You just die cut the pieces and glue them together. And you can create different arrangements like these two. I really, really like these. And she created this beautiful one. So you can either put it in a pot or in this little wrapped bulb. And look how beautiful. She put some shimmer on top of it. Just gorgeous. So I just wanted to mention that's included in 30% off sale because a lot of people asked about this. Yeah, okay. Yes, Honeybee has a rocking horse die. I used that in that live last year, but I ended up giving that card out. It would be good with the snap and slide too. The freebie will show up if your total is over $100. Yep. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so this is the amaryllis. And so if you see any of what they call their lovely layering dies, they will have a guide that goes with it. It's also on their website. One of the things that really stands out about the layering dies from Honeybee is it cuts a lot of details, but what's even better is see how it engraves or presses in a lot of the details too. See all that detail that it presses in? So it doesn't just cut with great detail. You can see those impressions. Oh, can you see it? Hold on. See the impressions that it made to add that detail to it. Really beautiful and detailed. Isn't that fun? Okay. Let's see. The Snap and Slides, I know you can get them at Pear Blossom Press. And if you look at my, if you look at my sales page, I have an exclusive code. I think it's for 15% off at Pear Blossom Press. They're the same folks that do the light up cards, like where you push it and it lights up, or the lights that you can blow out like a candle and they go out. I do promise to do a video with those soon. Yeah, if you block pop-ups, you'll miss out on a lot of the free gifts and things. Okay. So yeah, their details are great. And I have done many. Let me grab one of these others just to show you. This one is from last year. This is their fireplace with the Christmas add-on. If you can look at it, look at the details on the rock work on the fireplace and on the stockings. That's all like made with an impression that the die made. So they put a lot of detail, like the wood texture in the chair and in the pillow, little dots on the presents. You can see the lines on the trees. That's what Honeybee, I feel, is known for with their layering dies, is the impression details that are just beautiful. So you don't have to do as much work to get that detail look. Okay, so this was from last year. But the fireplace I know they still have at Honeybee. Yes, they do have great, lovely layers. And this is just one example because people had asked. They have florals, but then they also have like fireplaces, doors, windows. They have beautiful window dies too. All right. Heather just put in my in the chat a link to my card gallery. I have a card gallery that shows all the products or all the projects I've made with a particular company. So, for example, at the top of my, Heather just put it in the chat, but at the top of this page that I put in the chat too, you'll see at the top of my thumbnails, the supplies, it'll say the Honeybee Card Gallery. I have a thing over on my site. I never talk about it, and I really should, but you can go to my card gallery or my video gallery on my website, and you can search by theme, technique, or company. So you can go to my card gallery, search on Honeybee, click the Honeybee button, and it'll pull up all of the cards, thumbnails of all the cards I've made with Honeybee. And if you click it, thank you, Vicki. If you click it, it'll give you how to get to the video and the supplies that are used. So it makes it really, really easy to find. So if you want to look back at some old projects I did that have Honeybee that you might want to look into, that is a good place to go. All right. Another thing, I talked about the lovely layers dies. I thought I would also talk about the layering stencils that they have, because these I think are really unique. One of the things that's unique about Honeybee layering stencils or any stencils is they are clear. Hold on. Does anyone, I missed that. You're not hot foiling right now. Hot foiling, hammer mill is a great one for foiling. Hammer mill white cardstock is. I saw something else. Oh, the 30% applies to the clearance section too. Honeybee has a great clearance section. It's like up to 70% off, and it sounds like you can get another 30% off those things. Okay, so Honeybee does beautiful layering stencils. Let me show you one, for example. This is the Pet Friends layering stencil set. Their stencils are cool because they're clear, and the reason clear I think is fun is when you put it over a project, you can see what colors you've already done and what you might want to add. So like for this Pet Friends one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stencils, all right? And when you layer them together, you get a really fun, colorful background. Mike, do you have the Honeybee images that I sent you yesterday?
Let me see.
I don't think there's a code for Honeybee. I think it's all automatic. I think you get automatic 30% off. I believe it's automatic. You don't need a code. So you get 30% off Honeybee branded products. Is Christina Werner here? She's trouble. Oh, Christina gave me a super chat for my nap. Is that money for the people who can take care of everything so I can nap? Is that how that works? Yeah, the discount is automatic. Do you have the images I sent you yesterday?
Almost.
Okay. Mike's pulling them up.
Yeah,
So,
I've been scurrying around a little bit here.
yeah, well, that happens. We have a lot of stuff here. Hold on. I'll gather something else in the meantime. Okay. Yeah, you don't need a discount code. Christina is here, yes. Oh, they keep going out of stock. Sorry about that. Honeybee stencils are great. Let me see if I can hold one up so you can see it better. Let me put it on some dark cardstock, see if that helps. I can also do one, but we don't have a ton of time. So if you look, see there's etching on it? So the etching will line up with what you've already inked, making it really easy to line everything up. To find the list of the supplies that I'm using, each hour has a different page, and they're all in the YouTube descriptions below. All right.
Which one do you need?
How am I feeling, Patricia? I'm running on low right now because I've been kind of sick, so I don't know that the deer will show in your cart, but it should be free. Let me text Lisa and make sure. I need the pet one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any info about that, the details.
Let me see if Lisa's here. Hold on. All right. Okay. I think it just will get sent. Okay, look at that. I took a drink, sorry. That is the Pet Friends layering stencils. Look at those cute little critters in the background. This example is on like a pool colored cardstock. Oh, it does come up as a gift. Okay, so it shows up as a $100 freebie, Erica said.
I will
Good to know.
and try to figure this out without purchasing it.
Okay, Mike, do you have it? There's another image for the Pet Friends.
2 more.
Look at that. So that is their, these images, by the way, are from the Honeybee website, and they said I could use them. So right there, that is what the stencil creates. Isn't that adorable? And then there are dies that will cut out those individual images if you want to use them on their own. So it'll cut out like the dog, cut out the turtle, cut out the cat. Okay, so very intricate, and you can easily get great color with that. I think, is that it, Mike?
There is another one.
Is there another pet one? I love this one. Who does it say made that? Leanne West. This is from the Honeybee website. So they did, look at that inking. That they used the Pet Friend stencils. And then they put a heart and die cut a little pet friend and put it at the center with the sentiment. Isn't that adorable? So Honeybee has a lot of layering stencils like this that create amazing backgrounds. It's like your own custom pattern paper, and you can do it in whatever set colors you want. All right, you can switch back. So that, here are the dies, and you saw in that example, there was a cat, a bird, a dog, and you can use these to cut them out. And then of course they have sentiments that work well with it, okay? So that is one example. Another one that they have is, that I like is It's a Party. I think this has six stencils again. I'll just show up one of them to you. Mike, I think you have an example for this one.
I showed you all the ones that you...
There was no party one?
Oh yeah,
the party one. So see the detail that you can get? So there's lots of layers, 6 layers. Can you show the party one?
Yeah.
So this is the party background that you can create with that. And again, there are dies that can cut out the different elements. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Pam. So you can cut out those little elements. But for me, I think it's fun to just ink one of these backgrounds, put it on a card, and put a basic sentiment in the center. Now, there is one more. Do you have one for the Makers?
No, I tried to get everything.
Okay, Makers Mix. I'm going to show you mine because I made one. So these are the 6 Makers Mix stencils. I have this on the supply list, and I did it myself off screen. Look how cute that is. Look at that. For any kind of crafter, look at the paint, the little embroidery hoop, the scissors, and there are dies that cut out these different elements. I don't know if I have the dies. Let's see if I've got them. I don't think I have them, but I did. Oh man, I knocked that over. I do have the dies that cut out the birthday one, but this is the Makers Mix. Isn't that cute? So I thought this would be good with a basic sentiment in the center on a basic card. You don't have to do much. Yeah, the party one is really fun, and there are dies that cut out the party elements, but I love this. I mean, look at the details. The little buttons in the background, little pins. And they're very easy to color with different colors because they're kind of spaced out enough. You just use a small brush. To clean stencils, isopropyl alcohol, I use 70 or something, whatever you get at the drugstore. It's all fine. But for stamps, you do not use rubbing alcohol to clean. But these, like these kind of stencils, rubbing alcohol is great. So they're very easy to line up because, remember how I said there's etching? See how there's etching? So I can easily, like this right here, is the embroidery hoop. So it lines up really easy with the embroidery hoop, and then I know I can ink that in. Yeah, they do. Honeybee has wonderful detail in all of their products. That's what's special about Honeybee. Like this background plate, the Christmas star, look at the detail in that cover plate. Okay, here's the cover plate itself. See the cover plate detail? Then I showed you in their dies, extraordinary detail. I showed you with that amaryllis and with the fireplace. And then in their stencils, I mean, look at the details in the stencils. I mean, let's see. Look at the little leaves and such, and the yarn. So they do have quite a bit of detail. This is another one that I've used many times. I got this one to give as a giveaway. This is the Winter Gems cover plate. Now this doesn't cut anything. It just impresses that pattern into your cardstock. But look at the detail of it. I can demonstrate that in a moment if we want to. Now hold on. I do have an embossing folder out here that I set out to use. Let me go find it. Oh, please let me find it. Here it is. All right, I haven't used this yet, but it's on my list of things to use. I wasn't going to show it today. This is Soulful Season. I like that they have big embossing folders. Oh my goodness, look at my handsome son. So you could put a 5x7 panel in it, but look at the detail in this embossing folder. Isn't that cool? So that's what Honeybee is known for. Those little details, like the little details in the freebie. Are you leaving? Bye, bud. Tell them I said hi.
Yep.
So you see the little dots on his back? Okay, so that's what Honeybee is known for, are those details. And that's something that I don't want you to miss. Yes, you could do this, you could repeat this if you wanted to for 5x7. But look at this embossing folder, it's 5x7. Gorgeous. Soulful Season. I'm going to use this another time.
Can you use it in your bed press? I just saw that question come up.
I don't know. I could try it. I might destroy my better press, but I could try it. I'll try it at the end. Is it okay to use alcohol to clean a cover plate? I think so, but I wouldn't. I would mist it with water and use a dry cloth, and I think you're fine. Yeah, we do need more Honeybee. I have a Honeybee live planned in a couple weeks where I want to use more of this stuff. Yeah, that is a new embossing folder. This one, the Soulful Season, and that's why I have it sitting out. I think the vintage deer is still around. Isn't it around still? Yeah, it's still around.
It's on the list now.
Oh my goodness, I just searched vintage beer. Yeah. Mike has it on the supply list. So if you go, yep, it's still available. And it comes with different things you can put on the deer to decorate them. I just put the page right there in the chat. It's also pinned at the top of the chat. If you go there, scroll down to the thumbnails, you'll see the vintage deer on there. It might be towards the bottom. So I really liked this. Let me give you another example of detail. I know I'm not creating, I'm just showing you stuff, but I get a little excited about their products. Let me show you. They have a bunch of these a bunch of like frame die sets. Like I showed you the vintage frames. This is another one I've used before. It's lace heart frames, lace heart layering frames. See the detail in their frames? Look at the detail in their dies. A lot of pressed in. Mickey's whatever. Oh, is it sold out now? The vintage, oh, there's a vintage snowman too, yeah. Yeah, you do not want to use rubbing alcohol on stamps. No, no. Use water, gentle soap, or stamp cleaner. All right, so then this is like their front porch. They've got a ton of different dies with, I mean, just to show you an example of all the detail that they have. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so I could go on and on with those. If you go to my card gallery that I have linked, here are some more. Sorry, I get excited. If you go to my card gallery for Honeybee, you'll see all these. Look at this. See, I can get excited because I didn't design these. I just know the good humans who did. Look at all that detail in those. Here's some more. So some, like the details in that star, it makes an impression, but it doesn't cut, it just cuts the star shape, and the details on the inside are an impression. Honeybee will restock. My Altenew sticky mat, do I leave it on my desk? No, I leave mine in the drawer right here next to me on top, laying on top of my blending brushes. I just throw it in a drawer. Some people put it in like a zipper pouch. I don't do that because I use it so much that I'd be constantly getting it in and out. Okay, so this right here, what I plan to do with this, I want to keep this simple because I love all of the details on it. So what I'll do is I'll cut one panel from it to put on an A2 card, and I'll keep the other strip for a second A2 card, and I'll just do a sentiment in the center. I may do like a full shaker card, but I want to show you where this sentiment came from because this is cute. I know many of you craft, not just stamping, but other crafts, and there is this great set called Don't Worry, Be Crafty. And it has things like For My Crafty Friend, Life is Better When You're Crafting, Don't Worry, Be Crafty, Make Pretty Things, Card Making is My Therapy, Crafting is My Therapy, is My Superpower. Lots of different sentiments, right? Because we're all crafters. And what I did here, it's hard to see, but on black glossy cardstock, I white heat embossed Life is Better When You're Crafting and die cut it. And that by putting it on black cardstock with white, it'll stand out more than if I did black stamping on white cardstock. Did I say that right? So by having the background black instead of the sentiment black, it'll stand out more. And I did stack some extra die cuts behind it, which will make it stand out even more. So I'll just trim this down. I might put a simple frame. Oh, I do have a frame. And by the way, if this hour goes over a little bit, it's okay because the next one can start a little bit late and I can go a little bit late because I said I was going till 7, but I don't have a whole lot to do in the 6 o'clock hour. Now, before I showed you, showed you so much, the vintage frames die set that I said I've used many times in videos. Here I cut it from like a, this is Spellbinder's alabaster cardstock, I think. It's like a cream. I'm going to cut that center portion out so I can just have the frame alone without that centerpiece. Because the frame alone has a lot of detail. And I thought that would look cool around my stenciling. So can you see the detail? There, look at that detail in the frame. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'll put glue around. I cut this one from white and trim the center out of it. This is the Vintage Labels from Honeybee. I could go for hours with this stuff. All right. I want to stack another one back there. So I've got another one. Oops, I got to cut the center out first. So this is the Vintage Labels. I'm just cutting that center out. I can use the center for something else for sure. But right now I just want that frame. Okay. So now, oops, there's another stamp set with crafty sentiments too. Okay, now this will pop it up nicely. So I've got a nice frame. And this frame is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So now I'll put glue on the back of that. Did Michigan lose bad? It's quiet out there, so I assume they did. Watch this. So I put that on there. Then I'll put the sentiment.
9 to 27.
9 to 27.
Mom's got the angers.
My mom's in a bad mood now, and she's never, she's never in a bad mood.
I remember Mom would be in the family room watching the game, and Dad would not be watching the game because it would make him upset. So he'd be in his office, not watching the game.
So my dad, who passed away earlier this year, he went to Michigan. So did my mom, University of Michigan, and they were diehard fans. In fact, my dad, we buried him in his University of Michigan t-shirt. So that's why we cheer for them a lot. I almost went there. Colin considered it, but we didn't go. So look at how that nice little bit of an off-white frame just makes that great simple card. Now you could do that frame in black too. That would look really cool. But isn't that neat? Look at the detail in that. So I showed you the pet ones. That would be great. Simple, quick card design, right? And I have this little border I can use on another card. Now, I did want to show you, I showed you the one Don't Worry, Be Crafty stamp set. This is another one that's good. you can use these with other things. This is Crafty Friends. So this can be crafty or non-crafty. So there's like crafting is the best medicine, but then there's like, thank you for handling our friendship with care. Why buy it when you can make it for 20 times the cost? Or I made this for you, you can stamp on the envelope. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy crafty supplies. So there's a lot of different fun sentiments in this one too. Professional procrastinator, just saying hello. There may have been swearing involved. Anyways, and they also always have coordinating die cuts to cut out their sentiments. Okay, but the one I used is from the Don't Worry, Be Crafty set. All right. Oh, I know. Lila keeps tucking Foxy in like she's a human. Okay, so any of those would have worked with this. Isn't that cute? And then there are dies that go with it. But before we move on, still on Honeybee, because I want to show you something. There are some more dies that I started to play with, and I can't wait to finish. What? I don't know. I have no idea. Hold on, I'm coming back. Okay, this right here. So these dies, the Maker Mix dies, will cut out, like if you want to have just that paint palette, you can cut that out. If you want just the scissors, you can cut that out. So you can use the individual elements that the stencils create, or you can pop those elements on your background. So what I could do is take this die, I could die cut that hoop right from my background and then glue it back in place with pop dots, right? And that would make it, that would step it up too. Yeah, the frame does make it work, doesn't it? And you just put on a card base. Isn't that great? So there are lots of those layering sets. I think I linked to a category of them, but if you just search on Honeybee set on layering stencils, they've got a bunch. There were some other themes that they had. They have a Christmas one too. I think it's like Very Merry or something. But my favorites were the Pet Friends, the It's a Party, and the crafting one, the Maker's Mix. Visas are part human. It's a little scary. Okay, these are also for the crafters in your life, which is us. Let me show you these, because I started to put one together. Look at this. There are a few die sets. There are 3 that I like. These are part of their Lovely Layers dies. Remember I said they have a lot of detail. This is the Lovely Layers crafting cart. And see the little details that it puts in it? So you can make a little crafting cart and put anything you want in it. Okay? Now watch. This gets better. Let's see. So you can see there's the example card. There's a crafting card. Now wait. They have Lovely Layers arts and crafts supplies. So it adds a lot of detail. There's a spray bottle, a stack of books, some pens, a rotary knife, a spool of thread, spool of yarn, more yarn, a basket, a notebook. You can even do silver for the spiral of the notebook, a glue gun, scissors, embroidery hooks or crocheting hooks. Then there's this one. This is for paper crafting. There's a watercolor, there's brushes. Look at this. There's containers for organizing your, it says stamps and dies. Look at that. There are blending brushes. This is a die cut machine. Look at it, a little blending brush like Tim Holtz has. Markers. So let me show you. They have some examples here. Here are the arts and crafts layering supplies, the different things you can do. And look at, you just put them in that little cart. Isn't that great? So you can put all the different crafting supplies in it. Then here is the paper craft supply one. Look at the die cut machine. A little pouch, a stapler, a glue. There's the blending brushes. And you can also, I don't have it here, but there is a pegboard and desk set. So you can create a big shaped card that looks like your craft desk. A paper trimmer. And then here is the dies and stamp storage, like for our pockets and our containers. So I've started to put some together here. I have my little cart. Here is the stamp and die. See how it engraves the name at the top? You can ink the stamp up or the die up before you cut it so you can see it better. But like you can put these in here. So you have your stamp storage and your die storage. I created little scissors, and I'm going to put some paintbrushes in my jar. Then here's the little basket. There's the yarn. I haven't finished doing all the colors on my little ink, on my little paint. But then you just put all of these things in your cart, right? Then what I plan to do is put that at the center, right? I think I might finish this in a live another time. Simon Says Stamp starting soon. And this you can't see on here. Let me get a different color cardstock. Here we go. Remember how I did the track for this to go back and forth? I would put a track behind the center, and this could go back and forth with all your little craft supplies on it. Yeah, it's fun. It's like paper dolls. They have everything. And then it comes with these little, if you get like the craft cart, you get this with it, and it'll also tell you how to find more ideas on their website. They've got a lot of them. Isn't that fun? So you could make this go back and forth, just like I showed you earlier, that you can make the reindeer go back and forth. Isn't that fun? There is no code that you need. All of Honeybee branded products are 30% off automatically today. And I think it's just today, I think. It'll say on that page. I put the page in the chat. And then if you put $100 in your cart, a little freebie die set will show up, a die set and stamp, and it's this reindeer with this stamp. Okay? So I just want it, because I feel like a lot, you'll see a cute honeybee card and you're like, ooh, I really like that reindeer. But I feel like sometimes you miss the type of collections companies have to offer, like these die collections, the Lovely Layers die collections from Honeybee that have the detail, right? So I think sometimes it's important to remind you what certain companies have to offer that's different. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm parched from all the talking. Yep, we're gonna start Simon now.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just seeing if there's other questions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
I will be doing some stuff with the Tim Holtz products tomorrow. Oh, they have a beautiful, here, I'm gonna find it on Honeybee. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Because this is something that I considered using, but I didn't get a chance to. You just are gonna, it is a church, it's a cathedral. I'll put it in the chat. Go look at that link, the cathedral, and look at the samples they have. It's mind-blowing. They have beautiful, beautiful images. The stamp set that had may involve swearing, I think that was, that was from the Crafty Friends stamp set. It says there may have been alcohol involved or there may have been swearing involved. Okay, so these are all Honeybee. Isn't that cathedral amazing? I may have to come back and use that. I think it'd be great for a holiday card or wedding card. Amazing. Okay, let me see if...
Is that on the list, the cathedral?
It's not on the list, but you can add it if you want. It's beautiful though. Isn't that gorgeous? So just so you know, Honeybee has a lot of these type of dies that have those details to it. Yeah, the card gallery, I'm not really good about adding things to my gallery. I'm pretty bad about that. Or letting you know about the gallery. My cards will automatically go in the gallery. Mike makes sure. I just forget to tell you guys. Okay, yay. So that's Honeybee goodness. That reindeer is adorable. That reindeer is fun. All right, how is everybody doing? Oh, we need a giveaway. I had it, where'd it go? I have a cover plate. Where'd it go, where'd it go? Let me find it. It's the cover plate I showed you guys. Here it is. I have 2 giveaways. We have 2 giveaways. To be eligible for a giveaway, you just need to leave a comment in the chat. And if you have been, you're eligible. Yeah, you can do the lights with that cathedral. Beautiful. Yeah, they've got great examples on the Honeybee website. Remember, most of these companies, they pay designers to make cards to put examples on their website. Use those as a kickstart. It'll help you get creating. Okay, so we have 2 giveaways. One is what was this one called again? The Winter Gems cover plate. So this will make a beautiful detailed impression on your cardstock. You can either just use it as a die and it'll make a soft impression, or you can use it with an embossing mat and it'll make a deeper impression. And then, this one is that amaryllis die. So this creates the amaryllis. Let me find that amaryllis example. So I'm giving those 2 away. Here's the example of the amaryllis that my friend Linda made, and this is the idea card. It comes with it. My dad, every Christmas, we used to give my dad an amaryllis. Anyway, okay. Do you have 2 winners?
Yes.
Okay. The winner of this cover plate here is
Bonnie Jones.
Bonnie Jones. Bonnie, go to my website and through the Contact Me, you can email us your address. And the winner of the amaryllis die set?
The username is @CraftyWhoIsTracy.
The username is @CraftyWhoIsTracy.
So if you know your username, it just shows up the @names.
So go ahead and go to our website and email us your address and we'll get these sent to you. All right. Yay. Okay. That was fun. I could have gone a few hours with that. Wonderful. All right. Simon Says Stamp. So Simon Says Stamp I did a bit of yesterday because we had my friend Kathy Zilski here. Yesterday I went live all day, and during my lunch break I had a few guest videos. And the first guest video was my friend Kathy Zilski. She is probably doing something besides work today. She did a video using her products that she has at Simon Says Stamp. So Simon Says Stamp makes the CZ Design products. Oh yeah, I should get that information page pinned. Let me find it. Just a second. I will pin it up at the top here. This is the Simon Says Stamp information page. I pinned it to the top. So I had Kathy here yesterday. She did her little video using her product because yesterday they had a big sale on the Simon Says Stamp branded products. I didn't know if that sale would be going on today or not. It's not. However, I do have a code to get a free embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp. You don't have that image, do you, Mike?
Yes, I do.
Mike does. Here he comes. He's going to put the image up. All right, so this embossing folder here, the Fluted Forest Decor 3D embossing folder, is free with a $25 purchase over at Simon Says Stamp. All right, so if you put $25 in your cart and you add that embossing folder to your cart and use your code, which I'll give you, you get it for free. So at the top of that page, the Simon Says Stamp page, I just put it in the chat. At the top of that page, you'll see the link to get that, add that folder to your cart, and the code you need to use to get it for free. It's only $25, so you could get anything there and get that for free. And this is a 3D embossing folder, so it has a lot of detail to it. And I thought I would spend this hour showing you some fun things you can do with 3D embossing folders. You can come back here, Mike. I have that folder here somewhere. Here it is. This is the Fluted Forest Decor embossing folder. Now, last night I went live with Gina K, and I talked about Gina K's 3D embossing folders, and I did some fun techniques with them, okay? The 3D embossing folders from Gina K are very similar to the 3D embossing folders from Simon Says Stamp in that they're very thick. So you get a lot of dimension, and some of it's higher than others. It's really easy, or it's really impressive, the detail that you can get. It's not just raised and flat, it's all in between. And that's what you get with these really thick 3D embossing folders. As far as I know, pretty much Gina and Simon are the only ones that have this really thick embossing folder. Hold on just a second. Okay. So the Simon Says Stamp has a lot of these. Now, oh, hi. Who's here from Simon? Who's here from Simon? Is it Susan? Who is it? I'd love to hear. So there are a lot of incredible embossing folder options. In fact, I have so many embossing folder card videos using Simon Says Stamp embossing folder. Oh, Tim Holtz has some thick ones too, the thick embossing folders too. That's good to know. Altenews 3D embossing folders are a bit thinner. They're not as thick. It's Heidi. Heidi, I was talking about you earlier. Was it today? I can't remember. Was it today or was it last night? I think it was last night, about how you helped me get my career started doing this and how I will forever be grateful. So there are a lot of companies who do 3D embossing folders, but not all of them are this thick. That's the difference. They're all great, but there's something special about these really thick embossing folders that Gina and Simon has. Can you scroll it, please, Mike? So Simon has many of these. I have at the top of my supply list over in my Simon Says Stamp page, which is pinned at the top. I have, oh, Tim Holtz has the thick ones too. Okay. I have there the link to my Simon Says Stamp card gallery. And if you click that, it'll show thumbnails of all the Simon Says Stamp cards I've done, the cards I've done using Simon Says Stamp products. And you will see a lot of them are embossing folder techniques because I really like their embossing folders. So I thought today, oh, it was during the Hero Arts Hour that I was talking about, Heidi. Yeah. I thought today I would grab some different embossing folders and show you some different techniques, and then also show you another way to do card designs with movement. Okay? All right. So let's see here. Which one should I start with? Let's do this one. Let's do a really easy one first. Okay, so this is, my phone is going crazy. Hold on. This is, oh, okay. All right. Now, I'm going to do some inking with my embossing folders. And one of my favorite inks to use, let's do this, is Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Inks. Bless you, Mike. Earlier today, I was talking about these inks. They're a foam pad. And I said the reason I like the saturated inks is because she has lots of great colors. So this one is violet. Let me show it to you. Look at that. It's like a nice purplish blue. And this one is twilight. And they have little color families. There's a lot there. No, the Simon Says Stamp branded products are not on sale anymore. They were yesterday. But today you can get a free embossing folder with a $25 purchase. And that's all at the top of that information page for Simon Says Stamp. So let me show you something fun you can do. I'll use violet. So this is a Simon Says Stamp embossing folder. It's thicker than most 3D embossing folders. If you use the Intracut, last night, I used the Intracut with this type of 3D embossing folder when I did the Gina K hour. So I showed you how to use a thick 3D embossing folder with the Intracut. So today I'm going to use the Platinum so you can see how to use it with that. Okay? So this is the Flower Buds Unfolding. I just think it's a fun, simple pattern that you can use with a variety of things. So let me show you a little thing you can do. I have some heavyweight cardstock here. You could use whatever cardstock you want. I'm going to put a little bit of just tape runner on the back. And now I am going to glue it onto the side. The glue is going to touch the side where the pattern is raised. So I'm running my finger on this and these little starbursts are raised. So I'm going to put the glue down on that and close it. okay? And I'll run it through my die cut machine. Now, when I use these really thick 3D embossing folders and with my platinum, I tend to do the platform, the B plate, and I just use my folder on top of that with nothing on top. And that generally does it. Sometimes if I want a little more pressure, I can put a folded piece of cardstock in there as a shim. Okay, so now let me show you what we got. See that fun detail pattern? Isn't that pretty? Okay, now, remember I put glue on it, on the back, so it's stuck in here. So if I run it through again, it would just still line up. I'm gonna take, hold on. I will take the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Violet, because I really like that color. And I will tap it all over the other side. Now this is the side where that pattern is pressed down. So the ink is going on the raised area, which happens to be the background. It's like the back side of the embossing folder. And I'm just tapping it on there kind of lightly. You can use absolutely, really any ink for this, but I really like the saturated inks, the positively saturated inks from Simon Says Stamp for this. They just work really well. I decided to put one layer of cardstock shim in here just to give a deeper impression. All right, and I'll run that through. And you'll see it put ink in the background, but I'm gonna do it again and it'll get more ink in the background, okay? So I'm gonna actually add one more shim in there. So I just have two pieces of cardstock in here. Let's put some more ink on there. And this will put the ink in the background so that the raised areas will be plain white. All right. Sometimes I like to go back and forth a little bit. That just pushes more of that ink into the background. All right. And now look at that. See how our background has the ink and the raised areas are white. I mean, come on. Isn't that cool? And if you, oops, wrong side. If you feel like it needs to be even darker, you can repeat it. You can keep repeating it. All right. Yes, these are foam pads. I like these inks a lot for techniques. They're just really juicy inks. The colors are beautiful. In fact, I have their newer coral color here, and I thought about maybe using that for something. I haven't even opened it yet. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Gorgeous, right? So let me show you some of the things you can do now. There's a lot you can do with this. Now I could have started with colored cardstock, right? Maybe like a light pink, and then done that inking, and I would have a dark purpley background with light pink flowers. That's one thing you could have done. Let me clean my embossing folder first. I just spray it with rubbing alcohol and use a dry cloth, and now it's clean. Okay, now there's a lot you can do here. So let me tell you about some of the options. You could take a blending brush and do a different color on each of them. You could have started with colored cardstock or done some blending first. That would also work. But I think what I will do, let's think, what's another fun color that, you know what I'll do is, hey Mike, can you ask somebody to go get me a LaCroix, please? I'm thirsty. Are you sure? Let me show you the two favorite blues. I have an issue with like true blue inks. There aren't many good true blue inks. There's fun like purpley blue. There's fun like turquoisey blue, but true blue. These are my true blue inks. Cadet, look at that, from Lawn Fawn, or from Simon Says Stamp, and Marine from Simon Says Stamp. Ooh, they need to be re-inked. I use them a lot. Those two colors are beautiful. And as far, if you've watched my videos before, you know I really like, let me get them out. Hold on. Where are they? Simon Says Stamp. Simon Says Stamp has their own cardstocks, right? But they also have a line called Rainbow Splash. And I think these are actually the Rainbow Splash lines. This is sea and this is lake. And those two together are beautiful. In fact, you know what they look really good with? Gina K Blue Raspberry. Look at the three of those together. So that's Gina K Blue Raspberry, Simon Says Stamp Rainbow Splash Sea, and Simon Says Stamp Rainbow Splash Lake. Aren't those beautiful blues? And look how nice they go with the marine and the cadet colors. So if you have like a color you're missing in like your rainbow of inks, try Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Inks. They have a lot of colors. I don't know how many, but they've got a lot. So what I think I'll do is take the marine, and there are two things that you could do together. You can use a brayer. I love that Tim Holtz brayer. Let me show you that. I don't think I have this on my supply list, but this is one of my most used products, especially with embossing folders. Got my ink stand. Let's do marine. I have my brayer. I hope it's clean. I'm going to pick up some of that ink. I have blue issues. I don't know what it is with blues, but those are good blues, right? And I'm going to put marine on the raised areas. So it's just going to, remember I told you earlier, this is really important. Remember, you don't know how many, Heidi, you need to know how many inks you carry, darling. Remember how I told you that Simon Says Stamp embossing folders are so thick that it gives you really raised areas and slightly raised areas and everything in between? So what's going to happen with the brayer is it's only going to hit the top points. So what we'll have is some areas that have this blue on it, some that will remain white, and then that violet in the background. See how there's that touch of blue on the raised areas? Isn't that fun? So you can really do a lot with these. Yeah, Tim's brayers I find are the best quality. I really do think they're the best quality. They have this size and one that's slightly smaller. Okay. Yes, I have done videos with the gel press, and in those videos, thank you, Mike. I always use the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Inks. They work great on gel press too. Okay, you can get this at Simon Says Stamp. I need to look at these. These are new. I might use them. Sorry, squirrel. It's like, a good purple that's not pinky and not bluey. Now this violet is a bluey purple. It's like a periwinkle purple. I bet they have a good purple. Let me go look. But first, I want to look at these new ones. These came out a couple releases ago, and I haven't been able to use them. But you know I love a good coral, so I thought I'd look at these. This is Shell. Oh, wow. This is Coral. Oh, that's beautiful. And here is Salmon. Look at those three. So light, medium, and dark. Those are gorgeous. I'll use those for a technique too. Those would be beautiful with like a turquoise color, like a teal color. Let's see about purples. Here's a good purple. Orchid. That's a good purple. That's more of a true purple. See, this is more of the background here is more of a violet purple. Somebody says it's 105 inks you have. Wow. Okay, so I wanted to do one. They have a lot of like flowery ones, but I really wanted to do an example that was just like a geometric pattern because you could use it with a lot of things. Let's cut this down. I want to cut it down quite a bit. No, I won't. Let me cut it down some. Hold, please. I have to overthink everything. I got to get it centered or it'll drive me crazy. All right. Here we go. That coral is beautiful. I'll use it on something. I have to. So I just trimmed it down so it'll fit nicely on a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch note card. Let me get some glue ready. Now, listen, there's a lot of texture to this, so I'm going to put more glue on it than I normally would. Now, I'm not putting bigger blobs of glue. I'm just putting it in more areas so that I can be sure it really connects. Okay, so there is that. Now I want to put something heavy on it while it dries because I want that to be flat. 106 pot. Ah, Erica counted. 106 inks. Go, Erica. Okay, so there we go. Sorry, I'm getting really thirsty from chatting. This is the Flower Buds Unfolding Embossing Folder. They have a lot of good ones. Let me show you some other small pattern ones. There was another small pattern one I was thinking about using. Let me see if this is... These are some other pattern ones that would work great for this technique. This is the Margot Tile. That one would work really well for it. Then the Winslow Medallions, that's another one. So those kind of things work really good with a variety of themed cards. If you want more of a pinky coral, they have that too. Let me show you. My dog is hacking. They have like the Cheeky and Blush. Like this is the blush color. It's a little more red. It's a little more pink. So there are a variety of them. Yeah, there are a lot of beautiful embossing folders. Okay, so let me show you what I want to do with this one. I'm not really sure. I think I have an idea. This is the Graceful Butterfly die set. And you can tell I liked it because I already cut a billion of them. Okay, the dimensions of the folders, it's like perfect for an A2 card. Okay, so this is the Graceful Butterfly die set. I already made a bunch of things here. Oh, good, I don't have to duck cut them. I think I'll do this big one. So I just used the die to die cut butterflies. I got the big one here. And I'll take a little piece of temporary tape. Oh, a strong purple, yeah, is Simon Hurley's has Crown Me, which is a great purple too. Okay, so now what I'll do is take this die cut and line it up with that same shape butterfly or size butterfly in the embossing folder. And I'll put a piece of tape on it. Let me hold it up here. So see how it has all these different butterflies and there's dies that go with them. So you die cut and then you put it in the inside of it. So that one is lined up with the big butterfly. Then I need a butterfly body. So I've got a butterfly body here. I'm going to get another piece of tape. And line that up. Line that up inside of it. It's this one right here. I'll show you once I got it in place. I'll put a piece of tape on it and just hold it there. So now you can see that the body and the butterfly are lined up. Okay, so let's get out our die cut machine. I'll use the same that I used before. Oh, and if you have an Anna Griffin Empress, which a lot of people do, this embossing folder works. Usually I just use, what is it? One clear plate and the embossing folder, and that does it. You just got to experiment with whatever die cut machine you have. Okay, so look at the detail in that butterfly. Isn't that beautiful? And then we have the detail in the body. It's just gives it a little dimension. But I think I'm gonna also add on top the small butterfly. I've already got one embossed. I'll use that. So I die cut this small butterfly and I lined it up with this smaller butterfly down here and ran it through, and that's what you get with this one. So now I have two that have the texture on them. You see that? And so I could layer those together. But I have an idea. So I could do a plain white. That's kind of cool. Actually, I like that. These also look really beautiful if you use metallic cardstock. I showed that last night in with Gina's. I think for this card, I like the plain white. Maybe I'll do, yeah, I will pop up the wings. Maybe I'll do, I could do a little bit of light blue ink blended at the center. Let's do that. And we'll keep it white because I don't want this to be too distracting with the background. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have too much. It would be overwhelming. Yeah, I know. And I'm going live tomorrow too. Oh, wrong way. Tomorrow is like Ranger Tim Holtz stuff. It'll be just playing with some fun products. And I'll be using, in the Tim Holtz Ranger Hour, I will also be using more Simon Says stamp products because they worked really well with the technique I wanted to do. And then I have tomorrow Pink and Maine. And then I have Pashta Design. Pashta does felt stitching dies that are really fun. So that's all tomorrow. Oh yeah, I like that. Let me get a little more blue in this background one. Really subtle. I didn't want it to overtake. I could, if I wanted, think just on the raised areas to really make those raised areas stand out. I could have used my brayer. But I just wanted like a touch of that little bit of blue at the center of the butterflies. And then we'll glue those together. So let's put some glue here. I'm just putting glue there in the center because I want to pop up the wings a bit. And then we've got these bodies, but I want it to be strong, so I'm going to double up some little bodies with antenna because I'm crazy. Yeah, butterflies are my favorite too. I think they work with a lot of occasions too. And they also work really well with their florals. Now, I know there are some non-butterfly people out there. For this card that I'm making, a snowflake would be great on here. In fact, that's what I want to make next, is a snowflake doing this. Yes, this is not the free embossing folder. I'll show the free one in action here in a moment. I probably could have used it with this, but I didn't think about it. Okay, so here, a little bit of liquid adhesive at the center, and I'll add the body. Look how pretty that is. And there's something really neat about it being white. All right, so let's put a little foam square behind the wings so it just pops up a little bit. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to add this with. Zoink. There I go saying zoink again. I can't believe that the zoink is actually from something. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you could just add this to your card. I'm going to do something fun and special. I have a solid large butterfly. I'm just going to glue to the back so it's stronger. So that's a little more strength to it. So there's our butterfly. Now I could add him on there. I'm going to do something different. Just press it if I can find it. There they are. This is something that I had on my crafty gift guide that you can get at Simon Says Stamp. And they're super tiny. They're super tiny. We call them spinners. Okay? And they allow you to make elements spin like crazy on your cards. You'll be amazed. Can you scroll it, Mike? Now, normally when I add these spinners, I use Gina K Connect. And I give it time to dry. We don't have time for things to dry around here. So, where are my glue dots? Let me find my glue dots. I had them out earlier. Here's another bag of them. I'm just going to use glue dots. But honestly, I would use liquid adhesive if I was mailing this card out. I'm just using glue dots for temporary now. The glue dot might not want to stick to the background because there's ink on it, but we'll see. So I will put glue dot on one side of these little spinner. They're super tiny. You can use tweezers, but I'm terrible with tweezers. Brianne just put a link to the spinners in the chat. And I'll put the spinner right at the center of, like the top center of my card. And I made sure it was center because I used one of the center little things. And this spins. Can you hear it? Okay. Are these out of stock? Tell me this. The spinners are, oh, they're sold out. Do the notify me, they'll be back. I put them on my crafty gift guide last week. Let me show you. Then you put adhesive on the top. Again, I would use liquid adhesive, okay? But I don't want to take the time for that to dry. So then I put adhesive on top of that little spinner, and then I will lay my butterfly onto it, okay? Look at him spin. Isn't that fun? So you could put anything on there. I think like a snowflake would be fun on a card. You could put anything you want to spin. Yeah, they'll come back. Heidi, will the spinners come back? I'm hoping they come back. Yeah. You can also make a spinner out of the snap and slides that I showed you, okay? You can also do that. What you would do is die cut a little circle in your background, put half of the snap and slide on the back of the little circle die cut, half on the front, and put your butterfly on it. And then you could do the spinning too. And what I like about these, I mean, it doesn't add a whole lot of dimension to it, okay? And it spins beautifully. So then I need a sentiment. You know what? In fact, I'll show you how to do a spinner with these in just a moment. First, let me find a sentiment. Thought I would do, these were on my crafty, this next thing is on my crafty gift guide too. These are the Easy Strip products from Simon Says Stamp. This one is CZ Designs You Got This stamp set. And it's one big stamp, okay? Why did you put glue on the paper in the embossing folder? I put glue on the back of my paper before I put it in the embossing folder so that when I ran it through and opened it, it would stay in the same spot. That way I could add ink to it, the inside of the folder, and run it through again and it'd be in the same spot. And then I could open it up and add more ink and it would always be in the same spot. So by putting a little bit of adhesive on the back, it sticks to the raised part of the embossing folders and every time it won't shift. You could use tape too. All right, so I'm gonna put black ink, Jennifer's losing her mind, on the back or onto the stamp. It's just one giant stamp. Look at that. Man, that stamped well. Nice. And then I have one die to cut them all out. But wait, these are the Easy Strips. The Easy Strip collection, I have a link to the whole collection over at Simon Says Stamp. They all coordinate together. So let me show you. I'm sure I've got more right here. This is the Easy Strips, congratulations. This is the Easy Strips, You Got This. One big stamp, and the die works with all of the different options they have. They also have pre-printed sheets. So it'll be like black printing on white cardstock, and this will line up with it. So if you don't want to get the stamp sets, you can also get the pre-printed sheets. And those you can even foil. And to make things even better, because you know I love options, there are 3 different Easy Strips dies that work with it. There are the ones that have the flag banner, or flag ends, ones that have the squared ends, and ones that have the rounded edges. Isn't that cool? So all of these will work with all of the different Easy Strip options they have. So I used the You Got This from CZ Designs. I really like the sentiments in here. You'll get through this. I think that's a great sentiment. So that's what I'm using. But I have these Easy Strip dies stuck to magnets in my cabinet doors because I use them so much. All right, so I stamped that. Now let me show you how it works. I'm glad you've been learning some new things. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. It's not time wasted. The pre-printed strips are fantastic. I have them in the other room, but there's like a pack of like 5 or so of the same, or like 3 of one print and 3 of another, and they all will work with the same die. So if you don't, so that way you can, I mean, they're inexpensive and you can foil those because they're printed with like a toner. So see how that lines up? Yes, CZ Stamps, all of her designs are awesome. In fact, I have out my favorite all-time stamp set from her. It was on my favorites. It was on my crafty gift guide last year, and I still have it out because I use it so much. If you want to foil on the pre-printed sheets that Simon Says Stamp has, you just do the exact same process I showed you last night with Gina K Fuse. You can use Gina K's foils and Gina K Fuse, and those would work great. You just do the process I showed last night during her crafty hour. This is CZ's, my favorite set from CZ. And I'm going to use this tomorrow during the Tim hour that I have. I use this one all the time. There's die sets that cut it out. You can see mine's very loved. I love this. Yes, I agree. And Kathy is a good human. Okay, she was here earlier. Here I am talking about her and she's not here. So now look at it, cuts all of these out perfectly. I think I'm going to use the You'll Get Through This. But now I have all these sentiments that I can keep. I have a little drawer where I keep my pre-printed sentiments, or I'll keep them in the pocket with the stamp set. But for now, I'll put them up here. I'll use this tomorrow, but it's so good. Let me put this away because I will want it again. Now what I think would be fun here is to glue that right on to the butterfly. So I'll put some glue. I mean, he moves easily, right? So as soon as it comes out of the envelope, he'll be moving. So the recipient will be very aware that this card is one that moves. Put that straight. I'm gonna let that sit and dry. See? See how it just moves so easily? Okay, I'll show you how to do another way of these spinners with a little less movement if you want that. So look in our background. We have the dark violet ink in the background, and then the raised areas are white with a little bit of that marine blue on the tips. Then we have our butterfly with all the texture, a little bit of blue, and our sentiment floating on it. And it spins like crazy. Isn't that fun? So those are the spinners. You can do the notify me button. I didn't know they were sold out. They must have sold out today. Otherwise I wouldn't have showed them because I feel bad. But I love those. It is amazing movement. I mean, it just moves freely. Now that is one thing you can do. Let's do another one. And I'll do another embossing folder technique. How about that? Let's use, this is Snowflake Visions. I've done a lot with this particular embossing folder. Kathy is funny. The texts we send back and forth sometimes, she will crack me up. This is the Snowflake Visions. I've used this many times. Once again, let's think, what technique do I want to do? Let me think. Let me look at what else I had. Let's see. Let's do the opposite. Let's do the opposite. Okay, so I'll put my cardstock in here and we're gonna run that through. I'm sorry about that, that was loud. Run that through my die cut machine. Yeah, those spinners were on my crafty gift guide that I put up last week. And I'm sure she'll get more in stock. Okay, so now look at the detail of their embossing folders. See how like that's raised in the center, but it's not raised as much as this. So there's like different levels of dimension. It's just beautiful. Okay, so let's do something fun with this, with some more of the positively saturated inks, because I really like them. I might use the same colors, in fact, because I really like those colors. So this time, I think I'll ink on the back side, just to show you another technique you can do. This is just another one. Yep, Heidi said they'll get more in stock. Let's use a lot of the same colors. Let's do Seafoam. That's one of my favorites of theirs. We'll do Seafoam and Marine again. And we'll maybe leave some white. I don't know. Let's do Seafoam first. I'll put that, I'm kind of blending that into some of these snowflakes. But really more of the colors going at the center of the snowflakes. I'm on the back side of it. So I'm actually putting color like into the indentations of snowflakes. So what is raised up is actually the background. And I'm just randomly putting mine. This needs to be re-inked too. I really need Christina Werner to come over and re-ink all my ink pads. Whenever she's here, she gets mad at me for having dry ink pads, and she does it. I need to invite her to come over again. Let's see. So I'm going to do sea foam on the back of some of these snowflakes. And again, this is going like in the indentations, and I'm not completely coloring it, just putting more of the ink towards the center, leaving it more white at the tips. Now let's try marine. Are these spinners thickish? Let me show you the spinner again.
Yeah, I would go with both mailer. Yeah.
I would put a rigid mailer would be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, oh,
Not a normal envelope. Yeah.
okay. Let me see if I can you see? They're not that thick. Oh, come on. See it? It's not that thick.
But when you put paper on it, it's...
Yeah. Now, I will say, did you notice how when I put the butterfly, I put an extra layer butterfly behind it so that my butterfly is strong, so that having this behind it, even if you press down here, it's not going to do anything to it because my butterfly is strong. But yeah, you can put a bubble mailer, or I really like rigid mailers. I'm fine with rigid mailers, but it's up to you. Also, I know a lot of people hand give their cards. Another thing you can do, they'd be fun on tags. Isn't that fun? Yeah, it's thin. It looks like a little cell battery. It does. Okay. So this is the marine color that I like so much. I might do some in the cadet, which is the darker blue too. Maybe we'll do some in that. Let's do, because I feel like I want another color. Or, better yet, let's do heather. Heather's like a light periwinkle. Oh, good. Yeah, Brienne is the inventor of the inkstand, and that's what I'm using here. It's the tool you never know you need it until you have it, and then you can't live without it. If you do a lot of ink blending, it's helpful because it keeps your ink pad still and you don't get the mark from the lid on everything. I'm not using it really correctly here, but you know. All right. Okay, so I've got, you know, a bunch of colored snowflakes in the background, and then I left some blank so that they'll turn out white. Let me put my brushes away so I don't lose my mind. Let me show you. So this is the correct side where the snowflakes are raised. See the detail? I inked up the back side where the snowflakes are pressed down or indented. Okay? So now let's do some inking. So remember, the snowflakes are pressed down. So when I add ink on top of this, it's going to be the background. Let us do that. Where's that violet? Let's do violet again. I like that. Can you scroll it, Mike? So see, this is where an inkstand is really helpful also, because look at, I can ink up my brayer and the ink pad isn't sliding all over my desk. All right, here we go. So what's going to happen is, remember that I'm working on the back of the impression. So the snowflakes are pressed down. What's raised up is the background. So we're putting the color on the background again, but it's just a different way to do it. And I had added some color to those snowflakes so you can see that color peeking through. And some of the snowflakes are just white because I didn't ink them all. Okay, so this is something you can do really with all embossing folders, but the 3D embossing folders like these from Simon are really effective with it. Let me finish doing, I'm going a little crazy. I might try something on this too. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So those snowflakes are indented. Nice, huh? Very cool results. Now another thing, I'm going to try something. This could fail, but it's fun to try things, right? I'm about to go over. It's okay. I said I'd be here till 6, so I'm just going to go over a little bit. That's really pretty. You know what would be pretty on that too? Some pink snowflakes. I might go add some pink ones. Oh, thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to try something. This could fail. Just go with me. I don't think I have my Lisa Horton ink stand. Does this fit into the Lisa Horton inks? No, it doesn't. I don't have my Lisa Horton ink stand. I'm going to try this. Lisa Horton now has a set of 3 new metallics, and one of them has a natural pearl in it. This may not work. I want to see if I can add a pearly shine over it. Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, please. I'll show you. Yes. So this is like a white pearl, and it's just going to give shine to everything. It softens it a little bit because it's a pigment ink, right? It's going to hide. Pigment inks are slightly opaque, so it softens it a bit, but now the background has a pearly shine to it. Oh, Mike.
Nice.
Look at that. Yeah.
Sparkly.
Look at that. So happy. Now I want to find all the things I can do that with. It's hard to see in the video. Can you tell it's shiny? It's like sparkly. That's pretty. So you could use like silver, like a silver metallic ink, but that would cover up a lot of the purple. You know, it would turn it solid silver. But I can show you what like a silver would look like too. In fact, I have done videos with Simon embossing folders where I've done this exact technique, but then put gold over it. But that's gorgeous. I'm so happy. Don't you love when things actually work out? Okay, so I'm gonna do another, oh, drats, I forgot to cut a little hole in this. I don't wanna cut a hole now. I'm gonna try something else. Hold on, let me give you some ideas. These are the Snap and Slides from Pear Blossom Press. Let's see, I'm gonna try, I would use the spinner on this too, honestly. That's what I normally would do. Yeah, this is gonna not work. Hold on. So normally I would put a spinner on the back of this die cut. So I thought a snowflake spinning on here would be fun. This is a much older Simon Says Stamp die set called Dainty Snowflake, and you can tell I've loved on it a lot. So I, off screen, cut it from white, the 2 layers from white, but I think I'll make this one have a little bit of one of the background colors to it. Let's do the heather. Let's see here. Get the scrap piece of cardstock. It is pretty, isn't it? I could use a long punch. I don't know that I have a long punch that would go that far. Okay, so what I should have done, I could use a spinner on the back, just like I did for the butterfly one. But I know those are out of stock, and I want to show you another way you can do it. I'm just putting some of this on here. I could try to find matching cardstock. Oh, that's pretty. Isn't that pretty? So let me put glue on the back of that and glue it on. So I could do that little spinner again, right? The little spinner doodad I just showed you. And it would work great on the back of a snowflake. A star would be pretty, or a flower. Any element that kind of, well, like a snowflake kind of makes sense to spin, I guess. All right, let me lay this down and then I will show you. Okay, that's goodish. Goodish. I'm in the ish mode. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I could do a little spinner, but what I meant to do is punch a little hole here before we do the embossing folder. Because now if I punch a little hole, it's going to flatten this. So I don't think I have a long reach hole punch that would reach like all the way down there, because I want it right about there. So what I'll do, thank you, Mary, I'm going to die cut it. It's going to flatten this. But just to show you how to put the snap and slide together, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I will tell you, if you were to make this card, I would recommend you die cut this hole before you do the embossing folder technique, because I'm about to squash it down. If I had a long reach hole punch, I could use that, but I don't have one. So what I could do is try to put it back in. I could do a stabby tool, but it's not going to be big enough. I'm just going to do this, really, because it's not going to be big enough. You need your hole to be bigger than that. I don't have an eyelet punch anywhere nearby. I know I'm making people frantic by flattening this, but I can always put it back in the embossing folder and line it up and run it through again, and it would be okay. I'm just doing this. So again, if you wanted to do this technique, die cut your hole first. Yeah, I don't know where all my, I don't want to have to go searching for my tools right now. It's okay. Oh, it actually looks cool flattened. Because it's kind of like, how did they do that? It's actually pretty good. Wow. But okay, for those of you who really, really want that impression back, all I would have to do is, you can kind of feel it there. It just pops right on. It pops right on, and I could run it through again, and it would push that back in. You need Pear Blossom said you need at least 1/4 of an inch hole for it. So pokey hole wouldn't work great. But see, you can pop it back into the folder. There we go. It pops on, and you could close it and run it through again, and it would put the impression back on. But I like it. I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I could just run it through again, but I like it. I'm going to leave it. What are you looking for? What? Oh, Mike's answering questions. Let me put this little hole. So that was a little like 1/4 circle hole, I guess. And then you take a snap and slide, put half of it on the back of it and half on the front, snaps on, and now this will spin, okay? But I need to add it to my card. Now,
Mike will rub off at all.
Oh, will that rub off? Well, it's not really. What I would recommend doing, if you're worried about it rubbing off, is heat setting it. Pigment inks, you always want to heat set it, right? And then if you're concerned about it rubbing off, you could always spray. It is a big hole. I could have gone smaller. You could always spray it with a fixative. But honestly, I would just heat set it, and I think it'd be fine, but it's up to you. I'm putting some foam tape on the back. I will say the snap and slides end up being a bit thicker than those little spinners, but there's a lot of things you can do with the snap and slides, like I showed you in the last hour with the honeybee reindeer. So there's good, good things about each. Here we go. Snap and slide is what they're called. Yeah, it does look cool. See, happy accident. I'm kind of liking that. That might be a new technique. You do all this embossing folder stuff, and then you flatten the snot out of it, and it looks like you made your own pattern paper. Hold on. Now I'm putting liquid adhesive on my foam tape. This way, it gives me that wiggle time. Where's Lila? Oh, is she out there talking to a friend?
Yeah.
So I'm putting liquid adhesive on here, and I spread it out. So there's a thin layer of liquid adhesive over my foam tape. And that way, when I place it down, I get that wiggle room time. Otherwise, if you put foam tape down, it stays wherever I'm just wiping glue on myself, wherever you put it first. But now I put the liquid adhesive back there so I can wiggle it around, and it can get lined up just right on top. So I didn't put a mat. I could have trimmed it down and had a mat. I wanted to cover the whole front of the card. And now this will spin in here, but I need to add my little guy. Double-sided tape. I'm at that point where I can't find a thing. Let's go get some more. When in doubt, get another roll. So I'll use double-sided tape to add on top of here. The Lisa Horton ink. Mike, can you add that? It's the new Lisa Horton metallic ink. So it's on my crafty gift guide. It's the one that has pearl in it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mike's adding it. She has a lot of great colors. But she has 2 sets of 3 that are good. One has silver, gold, and like bronze or copper or something. And the new one has like another copper, a platinum or titanium, and that shiny. Okay, so there's adhesive on there. And then I'll just put my snowflake on it. I could do that all day. So now, this spinner does spin a lot crazier.
Nothing goes.
Remember earlier I tried to make a drunk reindeer? I have a drunk butterfly. So look at that. Okay, now I have all those sentiments. I could use one of these, but I might. I mean, you really could do any. Oh, my snowflake shifted when I glued it because I didn't give it time to dry. But you know what would be nice on here is, I think a little sentiment strip. I don't like this sentiment so much for here, but I could come up with another one. There we just add a sentiment on it. Any sentiment. Aren't those fun? So this is the one with the snap and slide, and this is the one with the spinner. And they're just really fun. I'm loving movement. If you wanted to DIY, you can do a hole like I did here. Let me take this apart. You could do a hole like I did here, put a big circle die cut behind it and a small foam adhesive circle, and then the snowflake on top. And it would do the same thing, but I will say these are both very smooth. So you can have really smooth spinning action. Isn't that fun? I love it. I'm not done. I'm not done. Oh, this is what I would add to it. This is a good one. What I would add to this is probably the piece. I would stamp piece in a dark purple on white and die cut it and add it to my snowflake. You could also put it underneath if you don't want the sentiment to spin. Okay? If you're looking for butterflies or snowflakes, butterflies or snowflakes, Simon Says Stamp has a lot of butterfly and snowflake dies and embossing folders. So lots of different options. Oh, yeah, I was the one who told Heidi about these spinners. I found them by accident and I asked her to carry them. And they're great. I mean, they're teeny. I don't want to lose that. Okay, I do want to do one more thing. Is that okay? Can I do one more thing? This is the embossing folder that you get free with my exclusive code. You only have to spend $25. It's like spin the bottle. Oh, you know, some companies have little bottles, die cuts. You could do a spin the bottle card. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway, this is the embossing folder that you can get for free with my discount code. And there's a lot you can do with it. I'm going to do one quick one, real quick. Let me show you a couple options. I did this one with Gina's last night. I'm going to do it again because I think it's really cool. You could do, I'll do a few techniques with this one. And then all you have to do is add cards. I'm just going to do the backgrounds. There are 2 different spinners I did. The spinner that I did on the butterfly is the Simon Says Stamp spinners, but I hear it is sold out now. But do the notify me button. It really does work with Simon Says Stamp. Ask me how I know. I get those notifications all the time. So she's already got some on order. I think she said that. And you can get that. You'll get a notification when they come. They're inexpensive. The double-sided tape I used happens to be Altenew double-sided tape, the 1/4 inch. Oh yeah, spinner games with an arrow. You could put like, oh, that'd be fun too. Like a Wheel of Fortune too. I used Altenew double-sided tape, but another company that has great double-sided tape is Lawn Fawn. They've got great double-sided tape too. Okay, look at how beautiful. This is the embossing folder you get for free with my code. You have to go to the page that's pinned at the top of the chat. You have to follow the instructions to get this for free. But look at how beautiful. See that detail? And you can see it's domed. It's not just raised areas and flat areas. It gives you that domed look, right? All right, so what I would do with this, I did this one last night. I just think it's really cool. I'm gonna do it again. You take a paper sanding block. This was on my crafty gift guide list. You get them at Simon Says Stamp. It comes with a pack of a few of them and they'll last you forever. This is what I use to sand off little fingerprints I get of ink. And it's good for sanding off the top of texture. So let me show you what you can do. This is, by the way, champagne foil cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. They have gold, they have silver, but the champagne is a nice alternative, whatever. Oh, a record. Hero Arts has record dies that those spinners would be good for. They have record dies, that'd be great. A heart with the spinner, conversation hearts with the spinner, that'd be fun. Lots of things you could use those spinners for. I should have you guys do the live hours because you have more ideas than I do. Okay, so you could sand as much as you want, but it's gonna be hard to see in the video. But what happens is you're sanding off that champagne color and it exposes just like a silver behind it and it just makes it beautiful. The champagne and silver, there's not much contrast in the video, but you can see it in real life. See how, can you tell? I don't know that you can tell. But the raised areas are silver and the rest is that champagne. Now Tim Holtz has, let me show you with the Tim Holtz. Let me get this. This will really show it better. I really like Tim Holtz metallic cardstocks. This is his metallic confections paper. It's actually craft cardstock with a metallic color on the other side. Simon Says Stamp has this. Let me pick a color. That's gorgeous. I think I might do, I'm gonna do this blue. So Tim's, if you're looking for, I'll be honest, a lot of the colored foil cardstocks are very ostentatious. They're like really bright. His are just right. Just right. They're not overwhelmingly colorful. If that makes any sense. Where'd I put my folder? Here it is. I just have this piece here. This is craft on one side. Make sure I put it in right. I didn't cut it down, but you get the feeling. Yeah, another way you can sand, any sandpaper would work, but Tim Holtz has sanding discs that you put on his ink blending tools, and it works even better because it's a, what do you call it? More coarse sanding. But look at that, how pretty that is. Now watch. And this is considered exercise. So you can tell your family you worked out. There you go. This paper is Tim Holtz Craft Metallic Cardstock. I think it's called the Confections Pack. He has a couple of them. Oh my gosh. So see how the raised areas turn silver? And you can just see the pattern more. You don't have to do anything else. You could just put a sentiment on that. Look how stunning that is. Hold on, there we go. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I don't know that my trainer would be that proud of me. I've been working constantly. All right, so that's something fun that you can do, and it works really well with this embossing folder, any of the Simon Says Stamp ones. Now you could do this with 2D embossing folders or some that aren't as thick, but you won't get some areas where that gets turned silver and some that don't. You would get pretty much everything raised would turn silver. Let me show you another one. Another idea. Let me think. What are we gonna do? Hold on. This is something else. Who knows if this works? We'll see. Let's do some blending. Let's do some blending. Twilight. These are the waffle flower blender brushes, the big blender. I need a darker color. These are the waffle flower blender brushes. I call them the Big Mama brushes. I don't know that this is much darker. And they're great for doing blended backgrounds, especially if you want to kind of control how much color you put down. I'm just going to do a quick blend here, okay? I'm not going to try to do a whole lot with it. Here we go. Okay, so there's some orchid. What do I want to do next? Let's do, I'm not sure that I chose the best colors for this particular embossing folder, but I'm doing it anyways. Let's choose taffy. I always like taffy, but it probably needs re-inking because I use it a lot. Yeah, it needs re-inking, but oh well. There we go. So I'm just doing ink blending. You could go darker if you wanted to, or heavier with the ink. And I'm going to show you something else you can do with these folders. Not doing the greatest blend, but these brushes do make it easier. That's not bad. It'll dry beautiful. Yeah, taffy is a great pink color. So pretty. I use it whenever I use my saturated inks, I use it. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set this just so the inks dry a bit. Okay, how do the waffle flower brushes compare to the pink fresh ones? I talk about the two in my crafty gift guide video that went up last week. I like them both for different things. I like that you can do like a really fast, light bit of color, very even with the pink fresh brushes. And you can really kind of control and get really light or keep working and get more color and get it darker. With the Big Mama ones from Waffle Flower, the background blending brushes that I just used, it's great for doing those blended backgrounds or doing like a halo of color in the center. So I really like both. What I would recommend doing is just watching how crafters use the two and think about what you would need the most, like what you would do the most, and if that would work for you. I mean, I think they're both great. They're both great. I had them both on my crafty gift guide. Okay, so there I did the embossing on it. It's very subtle, isn't it? Let's do some more sanding. So what I'm doing is sanding off just the top of the cardstock where some of that ink is, just the high points, right? I'm just going to do part of this. I don't want to make you watch me sand for hours. But you can use also like the corner to get into the little spots that you want to sand maybe some more. Let me just do a little more and I'll show you. And so it makes that white highlight. Isn't that neat? You can do this with all embossing folders. So I started with white cardstock, do some ink blending on top, then sand the raised area, and it makes the pattern stand out more. And even for like some of the embossing folders, especially if this was a 2D embossing folder, you could take an ink pad and drag it on top and it would turn that white, whatever color you add on top. Oh, sanding makes you crazy. I'm sorry, but it looks cool. So just another technique you can do. Let's think. Let's do one more. One more technique, and then we'll wrap up. Okay? Let's think. What can I do? We're going to do an embossing folder, the same embossing folder with white cardstock. We're going to start with white. It looks like there's a little bit of pink ink left over in my embossing folder from what I last did. I should clean it, but I'm not going to. Oh, another thing you could do if you want to make a better impression is you can mist your cardstock a bit with water first. That sometimes gives you a better impression, but I'm being lazy. Any ink will work for that. For that particular one, yeah, any ink would work. Dye inks, I think, are fantastic for it. Simon Says stamp inks are great for it. You can see there's a little pink tint to it because there was some pink ink from my embossing folder, but I don't care. Okay, this embossing folder would probably work really well with the technique I did on this one where I put ink in the embossing folder and it transferred to the background. I think I'm going to do a variation of the snowflake one. I really want to try this. Well, let's try it. Okay, I gotta think about what colors I want to do. Now I could like color the different parts, like the flowers red, the leaves green, but I don't feel like I have the time for that. So I'm just gonna do, let's think. Let's just do greens. Aspen is a really pretty color. This brush probably has some ink on it. Let's see, not much, okay. I'm just gonna do some blending over it. This is on the back side. And I'm just doing some random blending. If you wanted to, you could do targeted coloring. So like you could make that flower there red, like I did with the snowflake. You could do different areas, different colors, but I'm just doing green over the background. And I'm not going real dark, you could. This, I think, would look really best if you did that targeted coloring on the different parts, but I don't want to take too much of your time. Let's see, let's do some darker field next. This is a good green too. This will be darker. Yeah. So we'll have some darker areas and some lighter areas. Oh, that's pretty. There we go. Some up here. I try to do, when I do multicolor background, I'm generally try to do like 3 spots if possible. What did I use to make the butterfly spin? I use spinners from Simon Says Stamp. They're out of stock right now, but you can, let's throw some blue in. You could do the Notify Me. Simon Says Stamp is really good about letting you know when something's available again. Gosh, that's pretty. This is Dew. It's nice, not too bright turquoise. So it won't overpower with blue. It'll just put a little blue touch in. Yeah, that's pretty. I think Mike's tired. Yep. Mike's tired. We're almost done, Mike. Oh, Mike's realized it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yep. Oh, here. It's 5 o'clock here. No snow yet. That's pretty. So this is on the back side. It actually looks pretty cool like that. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I will go with, I'm going to try. There's snow? Did he say there's snow? I don't want snow. Who would want snow? That's not it. All you people who like snow are crazy. Did you say there's snow?
No.
Oh.
Except that there's no snow. I like snow.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I like snow.
All right, I'm going to put silver over this. Gold would look cool too. This is Lisa Horton Silver Metallic. I'm going to put that on top. I'm first going to do the brayer, but I may switch to direct to paper. Yeah, I might want to do direct to paper just to make it faster. But remember, I inked, this will be pretty. I just did all that ink blending on the back side of the embossing folder. So when I roll this brayer on top with metallic ink, the indentations, the pattern which is indented will show the color, and the raised areas, which is the background, will be silver now. So again, this is the Tim Holtz sprayer. I think, let's see, you can also drag it. Ooh, that's kind of cool because when I drag the ink pad lightly, the edges of the indentations kind of catch it. So it makes it a little more silver on those edges. Let me hold it up and look at that silver. Now, if I kept going, the silver could completely block that green and it'd be solid silver. But I kind of like it light, but you could go with more if you wanted. Let me put a little more. So you could keep putting the silver on until, I think I need re-inking, until it's like solid silver on that raised background and greens in the indentations only. But this, by not putting it too heavy or going completely direct to paper, you can still see a little green showing through. Not much, but look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now this I would just heat set. You could heat set that and end up with a beautiful background. Oh, there was something else I was going to do to this. Drats. I'll do it. It's not going to look great at this point, but I'm going to do it anyways just to let you know about it. Something else I was going to do. Okay, so that is, and you could do this with other colors too. Another thing that would have been pretty here is do all that dark ink blending and then roll white pigment ink on top, and it would make that soft. It's just another thing you could do. Just lots of options that you can do here. There is one thing I was going to do to this. I wish I wouldn't have put that silver on it now, but we can do it anyways. One more thing, and then I will stop talking if I can find the stamp. Okay, this. This is a thank you for all you do stamp. I'm not sure this is the best embossing folder to use this with, but we're going to do it anyways. Just so you know, you could choose, you could use, okay, let me start over. For this technique I'm about to do, you want a background stamp that has really small print, really small, tiny pattern, like tiny dots. Or in this case, this is tiny thank you text. Just little words, okay? I'm gonna heat set this a little bit. Then what you can do is put your background in. You'll just do it in the corner, it's fine. I could always cut this down. Doobie-doo, okay. Put my stamp on it. And now, stay there. I will take, let's do rainforest. Am I thinking of that? No, raindrop. I'll do raindrop. Let's take raindrop, which is really dark. Now, it's not going to want to stamp well because I have that silver pigment ink there. So it would have been better if I would have like rolled over that like a dark green or something like we did with the snowflake. But I didn't think about it. I just wanted to show you this. So remember, the pattern is indented and what's raised is the background. So when we stamp on it, that stamping will go on the background. Okay, and it just gives some fun pattern to it. Gorgeous. Now I would have to heat set this very well so it would dry on that silver. Isn't that cool? It's not to, it really isn't meant to be something you read. It just adds, isn't that cool? And Simon Says Stamp has a lot of text background stamps. Isn't that fun? So lots of techniques there. So that would work with a lot of different embossing folders. I am going to have a mess to clean up. Okay, there we go. All right. Hi, Richard. I am at the point of delirious, I think, maybe, but I'm good. I'm happy. I can sleep Monday. No, I have a bunch of things to do on Monday. Especially clean up. You should see out there. I have 2 folding tables, big folding tables, my ping pong table covered with supplies. All of this stuff I have to put away. It's not fun. That's okay. It'll get done. So lots of different techniques here. Lots of them. Boop, boop, boop. All with Simon Says Stamp 3D embossing folders. So for these, like you could do a simple, like hello, my friend, stamped on white with black ink or silver embossing right at the center, and you're good. You don't need to, when you have a background like this, you don't need to do much else, right? So there you go. This one's my favorite, I think. I don't know. Yeah, and this one too. I don't know. Lots of ideas there. So these, I used all Simon Says Stamp embossing folders because the detail and the variation and dimension that they offer. And this one is the one that I used. Oh, get her out of here. Sorry. Something spooked the dog outside. So the one that I used for these folders is the Fluted Forest Decor. And that's the one that you can get for free with my code. So to get this free, you have to follow the steps that are on the top of my Simon Says Stamp page. I just put the page in the chat. So if you follow those steps, you can get this embossing folder for free. Basically, you need to spend $25 and you get that for free. What's going on?
I'm sorry, I gave her a shot. She's the active one.
My dogs are wanting attention. They've been ignored. Abby does that. She'll get spooked and start barking, and so she's not allowed down here. Your cat perked up. That's funny.
While you're recording.
While I'm recording, sorry. Okay, so the page is right there at the top of the chat. Oh, your puppy's barking too? I'm sorry. Look at what she started. We have deer, a lot of deer in our backyard, and she sees them and she thinks they're friends because they kind of look alike. My dogs look like they're long-legged and thin. They look like deer. Okay, so that is Simon Says Stamp. Can you come in your pajamas tomorrow? I come in my pajamas every day. The colors I used for the green background were Dew. The green background were Dew, Aspen, and Field. And then I did the silver pigment ink on top. I think I have color on my face. Okay. Very good. Okay. So that's it for the Simon Says Stamp Hour. That's it. So I said I was going to 6 today because I could do wrap up. So I had some time to wrap things up. If anybody has questions, now is a good chance to ask. And I'll try to answer them. Yeah. I'm glad you were in your pajamas. That's how it should be.
Lyle never got out of her.
When will I air Scrappy Tales? I probably will do I have a few more videos remaining. And I'll probably show them tomorrow at the end. At the end of it. I just could not get it all together today to get it done. Lisa Horton does have reinkers. This would be something you could double emboss with Gina's dot embossing folder. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Gina's Swiss dot embossing folder that I always talk about is great pattern that you can double emboss with. That's where you use 2 different embossing folders together.
I think you've answered this one before about ink on the Better Press.
Yes, Simon Says Stamp ink works great on the Better Press. Yep. It's just keep in mind that Simon Says Stamp ink pads are foam. So when you tap to add the ink to your press plates, just tap lightly. Don't. Did Mike get to play pinball last night?
I'm going to put that one on screen because
I don't know. He didn't. There was no time. My husband's been playing pinball all the time because he's retired, so he can just play pinball.
Next weekend is a big pinball event. So
yeah, Mike's going to be at a pinball event next weekend. So, all right. Any other question?
What's your favorite scoreboard?
Scoreboard. I use
a lot.
I use the Altenew scoreboard the most. The Simon Says stamp code is through tomorrow. Through tomorrow. What ink do I recommend for the Better Press? Really, you can use a variety. You can really use any dye or pigment inks. Thank you, Karen. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I don't know some of the questions about what you have to.
Carrie, I'm considering those. There's just so many. What ink do you think stays the brightest? You want to pick the inks that are like happy colors, like Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated. Those are happy colors, brighter colors. Pink Fresh Inks line has a lot of bright colors. I don't have a special for tonic. That's on my list, hopefully, for next year.
I think these glassboard ones.
Oh, what tape do you recommend to hold dies in place as you die cut? For sure, my favorite is the Easy C tape. It's also known as highlighter tape. You can get it at Simon Says Stamp. It comes in different colors, but they're all the same. The reason I like this is it never tears your paper. It never tears your paper. Sometimes it'll leave a little residue on your paper that you can easily rub away with an adhesive eraser, but it never tears. I don't want tearing of my paper, and this won't tear. So that's what I always use. Sometimes it's different colors. Could I explain a fruit salad? Yeah, Gina calls fruit salad like sangria or wine. It's made with grapes, we call it fruit salad. Let's see. What's the best way to get your cardstock in sets, or does it match your dye ink or your positively saturated inks? Oh, that's for Simon Says Stamp. Okay, never mind. When did I start planning for this weekend? I started talking to some companies about it a while ago. Like some companies are really far in advance and some aren't. Nothing wrong with that. I'm right at the last minute with most things. But like Pink Fresh, she is always ahead of the game. So we've been talking about it for a while. Waffle Flour is usually ahead of the game. So we've been talking about it for a while. But then some things we figured out this week. And I've been coming up with these projects in the last week.
Well, I think we've been working for about a month. And Waffle Flour the last 2 years have been the first ones to send the graphics to me. So they made the first graphic award. The first graphic award goes to Waffle Flour. They always get it to Mike first. As far as sales, all the sales information for the sales pages, that Mike's been working on for a long time. Yep.
The Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks are considered dye inks. They're considered dye inks. Would I do a video someday on the different sandwiches for embossing folders with the Empress? Absolutely, I can do that. I can tell you right now, what I do is when I figure it out, I print a label to put on my Empress machine so I don't have to think about it. So like on here, there's a label that says Altenew. So for Altenew embossing folders, I use a clear plate, the metal shim, and that magnetic plate, and the embossing folder in between. For these thick 3D embossing folder ones, I just do the clear plate, this, and then the metal shim on top. I've answered a lot of those.
Let's see if I knew.
The earrings I was wearing yesterday, I don't know. I've had those for ages.
This is a good question. I don't know.
Does it have to be Simon Says Stamp items for the free embossing folder? I don't think so. I do not think so. No, I don't think so.
Quick, but I did not know any restrictions like that.
I don't have a tonic hour tomorrow. I have like a Ranger Tim Holtz hour where I'll be using like Rangery ink kind of things. But then some of the techniques I wanted to do, I needed a few other products. So I'm using some from Simon Says Stamp. Next year, I want to do like a real Tim Holtz hour where it's all Tim Holtz stuff. But this year, I'm kind of incorporating a few different things. How do I use the fuse for laminating? You need laminating pouches. You can get laminating pouches at an office supply store, and you just, it looks like a clear folder. You just open it, put your cardstock in, fold it, and run it through the heat laminator or the fuse, and it turns it into laminated paper. If you have money to buy one color cube, which one would you pick? Oh, I have no idea. That's a good question. The color cubes that I talk about, there's 4 of them. And what I would do, if I were you, is go over to their website, and it tells you what the different categories are, the theme categories in each. Like one has like neon in it, one has pastels, one has nature. And look at which one has categories that you think might appeal to you most and get that one. Is there a certain paper weight for the sanding process? No, I used 110 pound, but always use a good quality cardstock, but no, I don't think really. I recommend the Anna Griffin Empress machine. That's the full size. It gives you a lot more room to do a lot more die cutting. And you can put like a 6-inch stencil through when you want to do like that smooshing technique or something. I'm going to lean because I'm tired.
Is there someone else from Simon who can answer some of the restrictions or the requirements on
I do not crochet. Lila taught herself how to. Heidi left, I think.
Okay, let me try, because I'm trying to get it to work.
I know some people used it, so.
I think, yeah, well, let me...
Would the ink embossing folder technique work with vellum or acetate? No, acetate ink does not like to stay on. So I don't think that would work really well. You could try it on vellum. You'd have to heat set the ink to dry it. You could try it. Do I have a video that shows how and why to use color cubes? Yes, I recommend looking at my last pre-recorded video. It was my crafty gift guide. In that, towards the beginning of that video, I talk all about the color cubes. All right. How do you clean your sanding block to prevent color from... You just sand it off on white paper and it's fine. Aaron from Hero Arts is doing very well. His daughter got married recently, and he seems to be doing great. I think he's doing mostly consulting work now. Favorite top 2 brands for ink blending? You mean the inks to blend with? I like, for ink blending, really you can do it with any inks if you have a good blending brush. Okay? The easiest to blend are Tim Holtz oxide inks. They just blend like butter, no matter what kind of tool you're using, because they have a little pigment property to them. The Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated, they really blend well, but really a lot of dye inks do. It just, if you have a good blending brush. Dicember is happening, and I have some fun things planned for it. Okay, I think that's as much as I can answer right now. Lila is 13. What video do you make where you talk about tips and tricks for the stamp wheel? If you go to my my blog and search on stamp wheel, it'll show up. Anything where I used it will show up. In my crafty gift guide, though, video that I was just talking about, I show you how to use turnabouts from Concord and Ninth in a stamp wheel. Is the glass board itself magnetic or just the strong magnets? So the glass board that I work on has metal underneath. Then there's the grid and glass. So the magnets stick to the metal that's in the glass board. And they hold really well. Can you this is a good question. Could you give a list of the inks that you can use the same brush on? I know you said not to use Distress Oxide brush inks on the brushes that use your other inks. Here's what I do. I have all my brushes I use. I was reading a text. I have all of my brushes I use for dye inks only. So Simon Says Stamp, Altenew, Pink Fresh, Concord and Ninth, Gina K, Hero Arts. Because that's the inks I use the most, right? But then if I want to do pigment inks like the metallics or oxide, I usually will switch and use just my foam inking tools for those because I don't want to get any pigment ink on my dye ink brushes. So really oxide and pigment you want to keep separate. That's what I do. I use Impress nails. Impress, I-M. Okay. If you are interested in the glass board, now's your time to do it because I have a 25% off code right now. That's the highest I've ever seen them do, and it's over on my Crafty sales page. So if you're considering it, this is a good time to do it.
They may have freebies too.
Oh, and I think they might have freebies also, yeah.
Yeah.
Altenew is the company with the stamp wheel. All right. Distress inks are, you can use those with your dye, with your regular brushes, with all your other dye inks. Distress ink you can. Oxide ink I would keep separate. Okay. I think that's it for now. So, a reminder. If you missed any of the hours today, you can find a link to the pages with the information that each company has to offer in my YouTube description below. If you missed any yesterday, you can go watch that now and you can look at that YouTube description for more company info. I did like a page for, I do a page for each company that I featured. And that way you can see their deals and the supplies I use all together in one spot. Regular distress ink you can use with all of your other dye inks. It's just the only one I would keep separate is the oxide. And then if you have any metallic inks, but not many people have metallic inks besides, or pigment inks. Not many people have colored pigment inks anymore.
Okay, but you have to be sure to add the embossing folder to your cart.
Doesn't it say that on my page?
Yeah, but even when I was trying it, I spaced out.
Okay.
Yes. So
to redeem the free embossing folder at Simon Says Stamp, you have to have $25 in your cart. You need to add the embossing folder to your cart and use the code, and then it'll be free.
I'm ready for a nap because I was trying to do it and I didn't add it to my cart. So.
Yeah, there you go. It says it on the page.
Yep.
So there's a link to the folder on the page. Click that link, add it to your cart along with $25 worth of stuff. Use that code and you'll get it for free. I like this black raspberry. It's good. Okay. Now tomorrow, I'm back. I was going to go live all night tonight till like 10 p.m. But I decided I wanted to do some things with my family. Turns out my son went to his girlfriend's house to have dinner with them. So he's not even here. But I'm going to go hang out with Lila. And then tomorrow, I go live at 3 p.m. And at 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. So I have 3 companies tomorrow, 3 very different companies. So tomorrow will be a very big mix of styles and techniques. And is it on there? Okay. Styles and techniques. So there'll be a lot more to learn. That's 3 to 7 tomorrow. And then you're done with me. Okay. Let's see. Anything else, Mike?
You got to do a giveaway. Oh,
I need to do a giveaway. Well, yeah. Let's do a giveaway for Simon. Okay, we got to do a giveaway for Simon. I'm going to do a $50 giveaway gift card to Simon. So to be eligible for the giveaway, you just need to have left a comment in the chat. Mike will randomly pick somebody, and you could win a $50 gift card to Simon. And if the winner emails us right away, Mike, can you do those tonight?
Yeah, I did 3 of the 4 gift cards. Oh, and Linda Walter, I don't think I've seen your email yet, but if you're there.
Linda Walter, if you're here, email us right away so you can get your gift card and spend it during sales time.
Waffle flower.
That was the waffle flower one. So now we have a Simon Says Stamp one.
Yep.
Let's see. $50. Hold on. Where to get the Grateful Butterfly? Oh, the Graceful Butterfly set. That's what I use to create this butterfly on this card. That is Simon Says stamp. It's Graceful Butterflies. It's an embossing folder and die set. Graceful Butterfly from Simon Says stamp. The code for 25% off at Glassboard, I think it's Jennifer, but you can find it on my sales page.
They also have freebies for, I think, through
Yeah.
tomorrow, maybe.
Let me put my,
Monday.
I'll put my sales page in the chat. That's my sales page. If you go over there, you'll find all of the sales for all of the companies, including the ones I featured and the ones I wasn't able to feature. The ladybugs this morning that you saw in some of the example cards from Nina at Waffle Flower, they have not been released yet. They will be released December 5th. Okay. Okay. Do you have a giveaway winner?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can use regular sandpaper for that, for sure. Who's the winner?
Marianne Riley.
Marianne Riley. Marianne Riley. Email us as soon as you want through my website, and we'll get you your $50 gift card to Simon so you can go shopping right away. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think we got it all. So I will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. with bells on and ready to go with a lot more.
If you don't have bells on, you'll probably fall asleep.
I will fall asleep if there's no bells on me. I got almost 8 hours of sleep last night. That was a miracle. I was tired, apparently. Okay. I can't thank you enough for being here. What? 3 p.m. Eastern. What, Mike?
Okay. Mom sent, this is a weird coincidence. Hold on. Mom sent a message saying, she's obviously watching. Thank Linda Walter. She's sending beautiful cards with amazing messages.
Linda Walter? Is that who won?
Yeah.
Linda, if you're here, my mom texted to say she's watching. She texted to say to thank you for sending all of the cards with beautiful messages to her. Yep. My mom's told me about you, and I didn't register that was the name. She will bring those cards over to show them to me because of the kindness and the messages you put on cards for her. So thank you for doing that. That's a very good example of making how what we do can make a big difference. You've really helped my mom with healing after losing my dad. So thank you.
That was completely a coincidence and random.
Wow.
We have gotten a crazy amount of cards, and yeah, we got to thank everybody who sent cards because there have been so many.
Wow.
So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Okay, so tomorrow is 3 p.m. Eastern. Yep. And we'll be back tomorrow. And then I'm hoping to get those videos ready, and so that when I'm done at like 6 or so, we'll play some guest videos so you can see some more things. Okay? All right. Yeah, that is karma. That is karma. Okay. I'm going to go curl up with Lila. Thank you again all for being here, and to the companies for their generosity, and for the guests who contributed, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3. Bye-bye.
Whoop, I was typing in the chat.